Hello and welcome to the visualization. Not sure when to start talking. The stream should start around 8 seconds, so I don't know. Anyways, I've grown my hair for 7 years now, so it's this long. So let me just describe what I've learned over these 7 years as a gamer and YouTuber. It's really cold. I need that. So 7 years. Self-employed without income, with the help of family. Specifically my mother, Lisa. So, my dog died a little over a year ago, 10/23/2022. And so he was a red-nosed pit bull named Jack, hashtag Jack IN8K. So anyways, going back 7 years to 2017, so that's when I started doing these annual movies every year for YouTube, starting with the 2017 visualization. So 2020 I became vegan. I'm gonna try not to bounce around, and someone's currently watching, so that's putting me on the spot. But anyways, for 7 years, to summarize, to give you guys the best points and things that I've learned are, well, I've been permanently suspended 4 times by Xbox enforcement. 3 times that mattered. One of those gamer tags was a secondary gamer tag. So I was Xbox enforcement, the employees, they fail to factor in certain things, like America has the most swear words compared to any other language, or even the American version of the English language has the most swear words, like compared to like Australia or the United Kingdom. So yeah, that's annoying. So yeah, so basically by default, the Australians and the people in the United Kingdom and everywhere else, wherever people generally speak English, they most likely have, or it's like it's it's not most likely, people in the United Kingdom and Australia, just as the two best examples, have less swear words than America. America has, you could, like, I recently I walked across a bridge, a short bridge or whatnot, and up Main Street here a little bit, and just like I just vocalized a bunch of swear words, and just combined different variations of those swear words, and basically I was proving a point to myself, like, look, this is, I just listed off about 100 different swear words. So so by default, Microsoft Xbox is attacking its own citizens where it was founded, where they were founded. Microsoft and Xbox were founded in America. They started in America, and so when they punish people like me for direct messages, continued direct messages over time, telling people like, you're trash, you're a scrub, you're garbage, this, that, and the third. When you ban me for that, but also fail to factor in, like, you fail to factor in the fact that America has the American version of the English language has the most amount of swear words compared to any other language, or compared to other countries that also share the same language, the English language, like Australia or the United Kingdom. So when you're banning me for saying that directly to people, it's you're so you're failing to factor in the fact that there was also virtual provocation involved, maybe even cyber stalking, teaming, and basically cyber terrorism. So, because players will kill you and they will involve their friends and sometimes even stalk you, or when they see you in a free mode session on Grand Theft Auto online with up to 30 players per session, you can they'll see you and they'll go after you. So when I'm getting communication suspensions, eventually leading up to permanent suspensions, they, like I said, they're failing to factor in certain things like America has the most amount of swear words in their language, and specifically the American version of the English language compared to Australia or the United Kingdom. We have 100, 200 swear words compared to their 5 or 10. So, and we have a way bigger population. So, than than them in particular. So, so also, like I said, they failed to factor in that I was being, virtually provoked or cyber terrorized, or I was being teamed up on. So that's one thing that I learned, is that the three permanent suspensions that I got, the four total, but one of them didn't matter, it was just a secondary gamer tag, really. I didn't really fully deserve all of those. And yes, I was trash talking and bullying and using hate speech here and there. Like I said, they're failing to factor in all those other things. Furthermore, once we transitioned from the Xbox 360 to the Xbox One uh, generation consoles, there was a drastic change in how people were playing, because now you could record game clips. Uh, but also, um, uh, I had a different point, I think. But basically, when you transitioned from the 360 to the Xbox One, I lost the point, I think. But nonetheless, yeah, the change was, was a little bit more drastic, where, all of the combat was more intensified, because you could actually, you felt like, oh, this guy's gonna record a game clip of me or something and then upload it to YouTube. So so I wish I could remember what the point was. So going from 360 to Xbox One, um, I lost it, I guess. But yeah, you going that's one point though, is the game clips. Oh, the public comment section. Sorry. So the public comment section. There's now a public comment section on the Xbox One. Going from Xbox 360 to going to the Xbox One. I got an Xbox One S. So the public comment section, the public comment sections on all the different posts and all that, official clubs by the game developers. There's a lot of profanity, hate speech, trash talk, spam, and people don't really report it, or if they do, like, if people don't report it, then Xbox enforcement takes no action. So there are people indirectly being offended or being triggered, potentially feeling suicidal because of the public comment section. So what I was doing on the Xbox 360 was direct one-on-one communications. Mostly I was just texting people. I don't mean to say I was just, but I was texting people directly, and I would call, like I said, I would call them trash, scrub, garbage, blah blah blah. But normally I would only, generally I would only want to say that to people who were trying to spawn trap me with jets, them and their friends. So uh so it's like, when Xbox enforcement would suspend me, maybe just for a week or a month or whatever, 2 weeks, they never factored in the fact that there were players virtually provoking me virtually provoking me, potentially stalking me, them and their friends, teaming up against me. I remember, and cyber terrorism, and I remember like some of those suspensions, you have to like do training or whatever after the suspension, and through a few of those training or whatnot, you had to do, it's like a questionnaire or whatever. You have to answer like 7 questions or something, and so it would help you understand certain rules and regulations, codes, part of the code of conduct, terms of service. And one of those things is said that teaming was not allowed. So teaming is not allowed. Grand Theft Auto is a little bit different, where not that matters, but like Grand Theft Auto allows up to, back on the Xbox 360, you could have 16 players or 15 players per free mode session, and then when the next generation console came, the Xbox One, you could have 30 players per session. So, what was my point? So teaming, teaming is somewhat normal in the game because it's kind of a warfare-based game. Grand Theft Auto is based around money, rank, and crews, but also warfare. You don't necessarily have to engage in warfare, so technically GTA is based around rank, money, and crews. So my neighbor is playing music, so it's really offsetting. So, or a TV or something. So, over time, I'm like, I understand that teaming, is not allowed or whatever. So I don't know. I'm mostly a solo player for the most part. I do try to coordinate with others, but I play more often than most players, and there's that's another thing too. What I've learned is there's somewhat of a lack of loyalty within the gaming communities, GTA, just any community. A lot of players tend to quit early on you. You host specifically any game, any mission, any matchmaking, but if you host like a mission as a CEO, as an organization, as the host of a CEO organization or an MC, players in Grand Theft Auto will just quit on you within a couple minutes or within seconds, just randomly. So that's just one form of lack of loyalty, but just over time, just players will follow you and be friends with you, add you as a friend and follow you, and just they won't remain loyal to you. And part of that is also I've been permanently suspended 3-4 times. 3 times it counted. The fourth was just a secondary gamer tag. But people lose, they forget about you, but then they might check their friends list and they'll see, oh, I'm friends with IN8K, but me, I was permanently banned, so then I go and make the gamer tag INN8K with 2 N's. So people lose track of that. I can understand that, but also Xbox only allows you to add 1,000 people, and then you just kind of lose track of who you met and just kind of move on. So that's another thing. So I was level 1083 out of 8,000 ranks on IN8K, and that's when I was permanently suspended. Then I made INN8K with 2 N's, and I eventually got to rank 994. That's when I was also permanently suspended. Before that, I became a billionaire at rank 968 on INN8K. And I did that in 175 days played. So, the Xbox enforcement will see the resemblance of the 2 different gamer tags when they go to check the reports on the account. So some Xbox enforcement agents, I assume, recognize, oh, that's IN8K, or whatnot. So like, oh, that, you know, that's InN8K. I remember him back when I was reading reports about him on his original gamertag IN8K, and I was fairly popular on IN8K because I had such a high rank. And so there's potential discrimination and potential, you know, mass false reports that were distorting, uh, just distorting my ability to just that added to the to me getting permanently suspended a second time. So it's like potential discrimination by certain employees, whether they, you know, I tried to address this and inform them of this, is that like my gamer tag is quite obvious that my name is IN8K. My name is Nate. My name is Nathan. I'm a male. It's obvious that I'm a male. And if an Xbox enforcement agent wanted to, they could discriminate against me because of my name, my gender, and then furthermore, with my second gamer tag, INN8K, they could have discriminated against me because of seeing the resemblance of that gamer tag and my original gamer tag, IN8K. So, and the amount of popularity that I was accruing through both of those gamer tags could have made some of those Xbox enforcement agents envious of me, and they maybe weren't as popular as me as well. So that could have factored into it as envy, discrimination, envy. But you could be an Xbox enforcement agent and you could be discriminatory towards my gender, my name. My name is Nathan, and you can assume that God is non-existent, but the biblical definition of my name is gift of God or whatnot. So Nathan is a potentially religious kind of a name, and or I guess somewhat it probably is. So so it's like there could have been certain people that were anti-religious or just whatever. Maybe they had a religion that they, you know, they were trying to favor their religion and maybe attack my religious name, even though I'm not religious, especially after 2019. After 2019, I realized that God is non-existent. So, but we'll get to that. So yeah, that's about it for like 2017, 2018. Like what I learned is that there's potential discrimination coming from players with their false reports or mass false reports, or you know, they might stalk me here and there or whatever, and they do it for clout chasing, or they just do it for discrimination or just envy or hatred in general. And so then, you know, I mean, I guess I don't want to skip to the next gamer tag yet, because I mean there are other things. Like I had problems with Mixer, Mixer, the integrated live streaming service that was on the Xbox One console. Well, okay, actually, kind of backing up. Like once we transitioned from the Xbox 360 to the Xbox One, like I said, you could record game clips at that point. So now everything is way more intense. Now people are definitely going to trash talk a little bit more because people can record game clips. It's not really live streamed, but when people can record game clips of each other rather than just compete with each other and conduct warfare against each other, it gets more intense. So when the transition from the 360 generation console to the Xbox One console happened, everything was intensified. And so that is another thing that they failed to factor in when me or others were trash talking each other more consistently or maybe more intensely. We were doing it because we were aware that not only were we competing through a warfare-based game or other warfare-based games, but also the game clips. And then eventually they integrated the Mixer live streaming service, which allowed more intensity of the combat and more ego more, we would attach ourselves to ego more often. So, game clips, live streaming on Mixer, and just the overall competitiveness of Grand Theft Auto 5 online would cause us to trash talk more. And furthermore, America has, like I said at the beginning of the live stream, we have the most amount of swear words. So, and another point too, like why they shouldn't be permanently suspending people so freely is because these are warfare-based games. So if you compare virtual cyber warfare to real warfare, it's just, you're not going to be friendly. Like, it's just, you're competing basically terroristically through warfare, and sometimes friends help, and it's intense. So, but my point is that warfare is not friendly. You go out there in real life and you shoot people, you bomb people, this, that, and the third. You shoot missiles at each other, whatever it is. And so you're not going to be nice during warfare. So if you argue with your teammates on Xbox Live, or if you trash talk your enemies during combat in a free mode session where everyone can talk at the same time, 15, 16 players or 30 players, 15, 16 players back on the Xbox 360, and then on the Xbox One, you could talk. You still, to this day, you can, on the Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S, you can talk with up to 30 players at the same time. So people are over talking each other. People are arguing, trash talking a lot more. There's somebody revving their engine outside my home. It's kind of messing with my thought process right now. So, but yeah, it's just the overall intensity and the ability to. I was talking about like warfare. Like, you're not going to be friendly during warfare, and then people are live streaming. People are recording game clips. So yeah, like the point is, that I was just making is, you're not going to be friendly during warfare-based games, whether it's your teammates, like your allies, or your enemies. So those are all my points against their unfair, discriminatory policies and terms and conditions and whatnot. But then furthermore, now let's kind of talk about like how their systems kind of didn't really function properly. So and well, I mean, on my gamer tag INN8K with 2 N's, I started this idea called, or on the Xbox One, they started this system called the looking for group post system. So the looking for group post system allows you to host a looking for group post for any game and provide your language. And you can have up to 15 people to come. You can have up to 15 people come to your post. So you have 15 people coming to your post, and when GTA is based around 30 player sessions, rank, money, and cruise, and you can either do missions or whatever you want to do, or you can hang out in free mode sessions and do things in a free mode session with up to 30 players. But the looking for group post system allows 15 players per post. And because in 2013, when Grand Theft Auto came out, they didn't really implement any anti-cheating systems. There were money droppers, there were cheaters / modders who were coming onto the servers and doing money drops, basically dropping a whole bunch of bags of money on people, whether they consented to it or not. Or they would trap players or constantly spawn trap them with bombs. They would just bomb them over and over, which happened to me once or twice. But there were a lot of cheaters, and they were messing with the communities, ruining ruining things, and just they push this agenda and this idea of money dropping. So money dropping made everybody kind of like curious, and a lot of like YouTube channels or just YouTube videos, like they would post about money drops and money dropping and stuff like that. And so a lot of players were misled by this, and so when players like me were going back to talking about the looking for group post system, when players like me started to adapt to the game more thoroughly after one permanent suspension, I had to restart, and I had to adapt a lot more thoroughly and pay more attention to what's going on, and whatever, just readapt and re-evolve. So I understood that the game was based. I kind of understood that the game was based around money, rank, and crews. So I made a looking for group post. I thought of this idea, which was very clever, but also it should be just a casual thing. Let's become trillionaires in rank 8,000. The word become means grow to be. So if there was no cheating back in 2013, nobody would be reading what I posted and thinking, oh, this guy's cheating. Because I assumed that some players were assuming that I was cheating or offering money drops or offering some sort of cheating. But that's not my fault. It's Rockstar Games' fault, Microsoft's fault, Sony PlayStation's fault, Microsoft Xbox's fault, Rockstar Games' fault, Sony PlayStation's fault, because they weren't protecting the players and they weren't implementing anti-cheat systems to prevent all of the money dropping and all of the modding and the people, just the modding, and, basically two different things were happening back in 2013. There were money droppers, and then there were people able to like use these mod menus and just trap people in cages or kill people like anywhere on the map at any time with bombs or whatever, like. And so yeah, so because of Microsoft Xbox, Sony PlayStation, and Rockstar Games failing to prevent cheaters from cheating and also just provide a working anti-cheat system to prevent all of the cheating. Because of that, I like legitimate players like myself were, I'll speak for myself mostly, but I re-evolved and readapted after getting permanently suspended once. I lost my level 1083 gamer tag, so IN8K. So then I'm on INN8K. That's when I created Let's Become Trillionaires in Rank 8,000. So because a lot of younger people, or whatnot, just people in general, were under the assumption and under the assumption that I was offering cheating and money dropping, because I said let's become trillionaires in rank 8,000 in my looking for group posts, I would get a lot of false reports. So you can assume that a lot of Xbox enforcement agents would be tired of seeing reports about me in my looking for group posts of players reporting me for trying to promote cheating, which I wasn't. I was just saying, let's become trillionaires in rank 8,000, which is not illegal, and that's how any normal player should be presenting themselves. And so I was discriminated against because they lacked cybersecurity. And and when I say they, I'm saying Rockstar Games, Microsoft Xbox, Sony PlayStation. So they Xbox enforcement would ban me or ban my looking for group posts for whatever. And so I don't remember any specific reasons. They would just ban you and just not really tell you what was going on. And you could appeal it. You could appeal the suspension, and they would normally just send you a copied and pasted message and just ignore your appeal, it seems. So I eventually they banned me a few times for it, and I'm just like, this isn't right. I'm not going to back down from this looking for group post idea. Let's become trillionaires in rank 8,000 when the game is based around money and rank and crews. So I doubled and tripled down on my idea, if not quadrupled, by making it a hashtag. I made it a YouTube playlist, and I also made it an Xbox club. So I don't, I'm sure Xbox enforcement might have seen that. Some of the agents might have seen that, and they were like, "Wow, oh man, we can't stop him now. He's really not backing down." So, you know, they kind of backed off for a while, but then off and on they would ban me for it. And so that's not really my fault that they failed to provide anti-cheat systems, and there was a huge commonality. There's a huge commonality of cheating, and that wasn't my fault. And so a lot of false reports, discrimination through their failed anti-cheat systems, and just the misunderstanding of the average player. So like I said, I made it a hashtag, a club, and a YouTube playlist, and I didn't back down, and I kept on posting it. And I tried to describe to Xbox chat support, like, hey, I shouldn't even have to say so many words, but the game is based around money, rank, and crews. You can get to rank 8,000. The goal is to become a millionaire. I mean, that's easy, but become a billionaire and then a trillionaire. So when I'm saying let's become trillionaires in rank 8,000 through a looking for group post system to find other players to play with and basically host a grind session, because I would also, maybe not all of the posts, but eventually I think I combined it. I combined, like I said, let's become trillionaires in rank 8,000, but also I would add 30 player or 15 player, I guess 30 player grind session. So I'm playing within reason. I'm playing within the rules of the game and how it's designed, but they kept giving me a hard time about it, and so that was discriminatory and just unfair and not exactly my fault. I'm not the one who is cheating. I'm not the one who failed to I'm not the one who failed to implement an anti-cheat system. So, and on top of that, the government, our governments oversee this. Specifically, the American government, they oversee this, and these are the guys that have been devoting themselves, the American country has been devoting themselves to counterterrorism and national security since 2001, after 9/11. So you would think that, all that modding and money dropping and stuff like that wouldn't have happened in 2013, let's say about 12 years after 9/11, 2001, but it was happening. So what our government is doing, and all governments are doing, is allowing Norton and McAfee cybersecurities to charge us money for firewalls and this, that, and the third, which then eventually modernized to VPNs and stuff like that, virtual private networks or something. Never used one. So, but really this should be part of national security devotion efforts and counterterrorism efforts, especially when, I was in fourth grade the year before or the year of 9/11, 2001, or when the year of 2001. I was in fourth grade and I was learning how to use a keyboard. They taught us how to use a keyboard. So you're teaching children how to use keyboards and computers, and rightfully so. Teach us how to use Paint or whatever, Word, how to the Word document, Paint document, or whatever, Paint program and stuff like that. And I remember that same year or the year after or whatnot, somewhere around the same time, 9/11/2001 happened. And so part of national security devotion and counterterrorism devotion should be cybersecurity, not forcing citizens to pay for cybersecurity through Norton or through McAfee. So, I I didn't back down and I kept it going, and eventually they kind of backed off. But now, over the past like year or two, they're kind of giving me a hard time again. So I'm like, all right. So I'm more afraid of a console suspension than I am standing firm with that idea. I don't want to get a console suspension, so I'm kind of like, okay, I'll reword it. So now my looking for group posts in 2023, 2024 is let's gradually become trillionaires in rank 8,000 over time. So although I don't think I should have to even word it that way, but it doesn't really make a difference. I still get the same amount of attention. But adding those 3 words or whatnot seems to be necessary because they don't give me a hard time anymore. But I don't think I should have to add those 3 words. The word become is the same word as gradually, and the word become is also the same word. Become is equivalent to over time. So me saying let's become trillionaires in rank 8,000 is no different than let's gradually become trillionaires and rank 8,000 over time. There's no difference. So yeah, that's that. But then I was also like copying, and I started to use a keyboard with my console. So sometimes I would confirm, or not sometimes, but I would confirm to people for GTA looking for group posts. I would confirm the people to my posts, and I would copy and paste things like, hi, welcome to my post. You are confirmed. We'll be grinding in a free mode session, and or whatever. We'll be doing this or that. Also, feel free to add me as a friend and feel free to add me as a favorite and to your home. So, because on Xbox you can add people as a friend or as a favorite, and also you can eventually they allowed you to add people to your home, which means your home screen, essentially. So, but also you could add like games or apps and stuff like that, clubs to your home as well. So when I was copying and pasting that, I felt like it wasn't really spamming, but I guess maybe I can kind of agree that it kind of is, but also I prefer text communications, so I don't really agree actually. Like if there's a disabled person or somebody who's handicapped that can only use a keyboard, they can't talk out of their mouth or something. If they copy and paste stuff like that, hi, welcome to my post. We're going to be grinding in the free mode session. Feel free to add me as a friend and a favorite. Feel free to add me as a favorite and to your home. I don't know. I don't think that's very spammy. I don't think that's spam when hypothetically a person can't vocally talk and they can't vocally use a microphone like everyone else or like most people or whatnot. So I saw that to be discriminatory. And then at the same time, they release something called the Xbox Adaptive Controller. So the adaptive controller is something where it's for disabled people or whatnot. I don't remember exactly what it was. Like it was just basically something to replace the video game controller itself for people with handicaps based around their hands or whatnot. So or anything. So I thought it was very discriminatory for them to be going against me, who was using a keyboard at my leisure to copy and paste some things sometimes, and not saying like, hey, add me as a friend, or add me as a favorite and add me to your home. I wasn't demanding it. I wasn't implying it. I was saying feel free to. So I thought it was casual. And so that was kind of messed up. So I doubled down on that idea as well. I I went to the social club website, the socialclub.rockstargames.com website, where you can create crews or manage crews or whatnot. You can be in up to 5 crews at once. So I was in I don't know what crew it was that I was in. I guess it was IllumiNatey, my IllumiNatey crew. So I went to create an emblem, and so the emblem was just simply like a black a gold star. So I created a gold star to indicate favorite, because when you add someone as a favorite, or on web browsers or whatnot, favorite is when you favorite or bookmark, there's a star. So I went in my facility. I need some more water. I went in my facility property, and I stood in front of this emblem, because in your facility property on Grand Theft Auto Online, there's several different locations where your crew emblem, will be located. And so by the double stairway where the jetpack can spawn, I stood in front of the star with my purple Cyclops outfit, and I was standing there doing the action where you're scared, the scared action. So I had both of my hands up like this with 3 fingers as a Cyclops, and I was acting scared or whatever. So I took a screenshot on Xbox, uploaded it to the Xbox network, and also captioned it on Xbox as feel free to add me as a favorite. So then I was like, nah, don't just stop there. Let's go. I took a Raptor, which is a 2-seater vehicle. It's like the Spider in real life. I took that to like a home. I took that to like a rich neighborhood. Basically, it's like a dead end that's similar to Grove Street, but it's like the rich neighborhood. So I went to that neighborhood. So basically the uptown Grove Street area where it's a dead end, over by the Eastern Highway somewhat, and or the far Eastern Highway, I'm saying, like, and so I went to the property anyways, and I parked my Raptor out front of a property that looked like a home emoji or whatnot, just with like a like a peak, like a peak like this, like a triangular peak up at the top there. And so I parked it out front of there, and I once again I parked my Raptor out front of that property, and I stood in front of the Raptor or near it, and took another screenshot indicating like add to home. So I took the screenshot, uploaded it to the Xbox network, and captioned it, feel free to add me to your home as well, or whatnot. Add me to your home. So instead of me copying and pasting things, I I was like, all right, I'll just share these 2 screenshots instead. So these 2 screenshots, I shared them to every person that came to my looking for group post after I would introduce myself. And so, kind of backing up, I went shopping at Walmart, and I found a K55 Corsair keyboard for $50, and it has 6 macro keys. So this is what that is right here. It has lights on it and everything. These are the 6 macro keys right there. So those will type up to 43 for you. I have a couple boxes over here. There's no need for me to show you the boxes. They're a little bit dusty, but so I was using the macro keys to communicate different things, and especially with Grand Theft Auto being so complex, you need that type of a keyboard to mix up your vocal communications with your keyboard communications. But usually you have to repeat information like spawn, hey teammate, spawn the buzzard through your CEO interaction menu and stuff like that. So you so you so there's certain, like, or call Lester to remove your wanted level. So those are two very repetitive things that you have to repeat to your teammates. So I need to turn on this heater. So sorry if that's distracting or whatnot, but so yeah. So I would introduce myself. I eventually started to introduce myself, or I started to introduce myself with that macro key, with one of those macro keys, and I would say, "Hi, fun fact, I'm a YouTuber. Hashtag IN8K," or I was on INN8K with two N's at that point. So I I would say, "Hi, fun fact," or even though I was using the gamer tag INNHK, I would still introduce myself as, "Hi, fun fact, I'm a YouTuber, hashtag IN8K." And so people would naturally just look me up, probably subscribe without me even having to ask. So that was very convenient, that was very helpful. And after I introduced myself, I would quickly go and share those. Oh, there goes the battery. The battery's at 20%. So after I would introduce myself like that, with just pressing one macro key, types up to 43 characters for you, including, like, you could hit enter, or you could hit the arrow keys within, like, you could, when you set the macro keys, you can use arrow keys or the enter key or the escape key to send messages, navigate through the Xbox guide, or the escape key would back out of menus for you. So yeah, you could implement that in the setting of each key. You could implement those three different keys within the setting of your of the six different keys at your leisure, whatever you wanted to type, and then also enter, escape, or the arrows. So yeah, I would introduce myself at like that. Hi, fun fact, I'm a YouTuber. Hashtag IN8K. Boom. That's how I got a lot of my subscribership. And then after, I would share those two screenshots, the star one and the home one. So people would not only subscribe to me, but they would also add me as a favorite and also add me to their home, probably. And so that was me doubling down on two different things: the looking for group post, and then also me uh, basically telling people, you feel free to add me as a favorite and to your home. So I got a lot of followers on INN8K. If you go on Xbox right now, search me up. I guess I'll fire up my console and do that. I think I have to switch out the HDMI cable though, because I have my stuff set up for live streaming. But I got over 3,000. Eventually, I got over 3,000 followers on INN8K. So 1 second. So eventually, I got over 3,000 followers, and So yeah, I might have just cut out the audio. Sorry about that. Because I think the Bluetooth might have just interfered with the audio. But anyways, so yeah, those two screenshots got over 70,000 views, and like I said, there's like a lack of loyalty, because in the regard that a lot of players would look at the first screenshot, the star one, but wouldn't look at the home one. And but when I sent those two screenshots after introducing myself, you could, when you go to send the screenshot, when you share the screenshot via a message, you can type whatever you want or whatever, or you didn't have to type anything at all. And if you didn't type anything at all, it would just show like attachment or something like that. So and like a paper clip or whatever, and it would say attachment. So I would send a star emoji with the first screenshot indicating that, add me as a favorite or feel free to. And of course, they would look into the screenshot, see the caption, and the caption would say, feel free to add me as a favorite. And then, but like I said, I'll pull it up right now. The first screenshot got 63,000 views. All right, so yeah, the first screenshot got 63,000 views, but then if you look at the second screenshot, it probably has less. Oh, actually, that's in reverse. It's in reverse. I don't know why, but the second screenshot has 75,000 views. So 63,000 views and 75,000 views. I thought the star one had more views. That's weird. I guess like people would maybe like I guess people would they would look at like the most recent message, which would be the home one, because that was, I would say, hi, fun fact, I'm a YouTuber, hashtag IN8K, then the star one, then that one. So maybe, I guess it's in reverse. I don't know, because maybe the home one just got promoted because I shared it. So, oh yeah, I've been sharing it more consistently. So like over time, I've still been sharing it like here and there to my activity feed to kind of keep it like pinned there in a way. So I share it quite a bit, and that's maybe why it has more views. But I think before it had less views than the star one. But nonetheless, I'm pretty sure the star one had more views. And so yeah, I need to plug this thing in. So yeah, that's. I guess I can shut off my console now. So with that, I bypassed the discriminatory Xbox enforcement teams or whatnot, the agents that were targeting me for copying and pasting things like, hi, welcome to my post. I confirmed, like, hi, welcome to my post. You are confirmed, and we're going to be doing double money, double RP missions or something like that, or we're going to be hanging out in a free mode session, grinding together. So I bypassed that by creating two screenshots. That's pretty clever. And you can't really ban me for sharing two screenshots, right? So they were mad. Whoever at Xbox or Xbox enforcement that didn't want me to keep going after IN8K being 1,083, rank 1,083 out of 8,000 ranks. And then furthermore, I was still becoming more popular, and I was still grinding hardcore. Like I said, I became a billionaire on IN8K at rank 968, and I did that in 175 days. And so, like, how I know this, how many days, is because you press start in GTA Online, you go to stats, and then it tells you like how many days played you have, how much you've earned. So as you can see through my intros on YouTube. So so yeah, I bypassed their discriminatory bans or whatever, and used two screenshots. I could take these off now. Hold on one second. So I bypassed those unnecessary bans through just sharing screenshots. And the problem with that too is that I was live streaming to Mixer, and with so many people adding me, let's say I had over 2,000. Like eventually, oh, I forgot to show how many followers I had. I'll do that real quick. So, so I had a bunch of people coming to my looking for group posts, and you can assume that most or all of them pretty much were, I guess not all of them obviously, but most of them were adding me as a favorite also to their home. So specifically when you add someone as a favorite, you see when they come online, and you also see when they go live to, at the time it was either when they went live to Mixer or to Twitch. I think at the time it was just Mixer. So all of these people, 2,000, 3,000 plus people, eventually over 3,000 people, I eventually got to like 3,700, 3,800 followers. I'll show you that right now. And so you're supposed to be notified when I come online, also when I go live to Mixer. But when I would go live, I would only average like I was using Restream.io. So you go to restreamio.com or restream.io, and they allow you to, it's a multi-streaming service, so you can live stream with your capture card. Where is it? Where's my finger? That's my HD60S capture card. So if you have a capture card or whatnot, you can live stream through that multi-streaming service to multiple websites. So back then you could live stream to 3 different websites. I just put up 4 fingers. You could live stream to 3 different websites. So I was live streaming to YouTube, Mixer, YouTube, Twitch, and Mixer. And so when I went live, I was expecting like, eventually I guess I didn't notice, but eventually I was like, wait, a lot of these people are adding me as a favorite. And well, I mean, I'd noticed that the Xbox friend system was kind of broken. Like when I would add people as a favorite and then check their profile again, it would be set back to a regular friend. So I'm like, well, clearly the friend and favorite system is broken, or specifically the favorite system is broken. So if I have 3,000, if I have 2,000, 3,000 people add me as a favorite, they should all be, I should have at least 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 people at the very least coming to my live streams on Mixer. So once I noticed that the favorite system was like broken, and I wasn't getting the amount of live stream viewers as I was supposed to, I was like, wait, hold on. So I contacted Mixer, and I was like, I'm not getting, I have a bunch of people add me as a favorite, and they're not coming to watch my stream. So what's going on? Because I'm only averaging about 5 to 10 viewers. Not even. Like I'm only averaging 3 to 5 viewers between all 3 of those live streams. Because I was live streaming through Restream.io to YouTube, Twitch, and Mixer. So I was like, so here's INN8K, right? So as you can see, there's over 3,000 followers. So I've been live streaming this live stream right here for an hour. So I'm trying not to be so slow about this, but the world is big and the internet is endless. So when people are overly talkative, that's natural because we live in a big world and everything is evolving and the internet is endless. So, but as far as like, as far as this, you know, it's like when you have over 2,000, 3,000 followers, and you're only averaging about 3 to 5 viewers between 3 different uh, live streams through your capture card. Um, Live streaming to Restream.io. You're like, whoa, what? Like, the favorite system on Xbox is supposed to, you know, like, for instance, I'll show you, like, just to show you exactly what it, like, you'd expect to have, like I said, like 500 viewers, like, or something like that, like at least 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, so let me just show you, like, it describes to you what it does when you add someone as a favorite right there. Favorite friends are listed first in your friends list. You'll see when they're online or live streaming. So right now, that applies to, like, Twitch. So back when they had Mixer, that, you know, Microsoft, Xbox bought, or whatnot, I think they bought Beam.pro, and so Beam.pro was rebranded and renamed to Mixer.com. So I'm so tired right now. So yeah, so Mixer was an integrated live streaming service that you could live stream from directly on your console. So you didn't have to buy a capture card like I'm showing you here. You didn't have to get a capture card. You could just live stream from your TV, your console. So it was really ideal for gamers. So when I saw that, you know, the favorite system was, like, broken and I wasn't getting the amount of views that I was supposed to be getting, when I had at least 2,000 or so, maybe 1,000 people that had me as a favorite, I was like, okay, so I complained to Mixer and let them know. I also complained to Xbox chat support and let them know. And both of them didn't really care, because clearly I don't think they even want me on their platform. Some of them. Due to discriminatory reasons, envy, I don't know why. They favor certain people for certain reasons, and I'm just not one of those. So another problem that I've faced is the club system. When you invite people to your clubs, I would invite people to my clubs constantly, and so I would be in, like, several different clubs. So I would send out club invites to every person that would come to my Looking for Group post, and a lot of people would come to my Looking for Group post for Let's Become Trillionaires in Rank 8000. So a lot of times I would talk to players and I would ask them, or not a lot of times, but sometimes I would ask players, I'd be like, you know, did you get that club invite that I sent you? Did you get all 3 of those, or 4 of those, or 5 of those club invites that I sent to you? And sometimes, you know, when I asked, those players would just be like, no, I only got 1, or I got none. So it's like, so the club system, you know, the favorite system was broken, and that's unfavorable to me and my potential, my equal opportunity, and basically an attack on my business as a gamer and a streamer. But then the club system, it would be broken as well. It was broken as well. So it's like, so I would have to send out multiple invites. So if I'm trying to invite people to 3, 4, 5 different clubs, I would have to send out that times 2. And so yeah, so those are the issues with Xbox or whatnot. Plus, I mean, you know, the Xbox guide, still to this day, even with my Xbox Series X, it's distorted a lot of times. Like, when I'm just trying to quickly navigate through the Xbox guide to either manage messages or just go through the Xbox guide in general, it freezes up sometimes and forces me to go up or down a second time rather than, I go down 3 times or up 3 times or left or right. And sometimes it freezes on me and then I have to like go left again or right again or down again or up again or whatever it is. So, and I keep on making it known. I go, I go to I search up the gamer tag human rights and I send a message to human rights and I say, keep distorting and keep sabotaging and distorting the functionality and connectivity of my Xbox guide. Watch what happens. And then I also copy and paste that as a report to human rights, to the human rights gamer tag, and I make it known to Xbox enforcement that there's suspicious distortion happening to my Xbox, whether that's naturally happening because they're failing to update their Xbox guide um or whatever. I don't know what other reason there would be. Like, they're not. Why would you release a messaging system? Back when I was a teenager, AOL Instant Messenger was a thing where instant messaging was boom, 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 and you could even text. You could use the AIM Instant Messenger to text cell phone numbers, and there were times where I would like spam people's cell phones, like and like fry their phones, and it was super funny. But yeah, like ex-girlfriend or something like that, they would be annoying to me, so I would just spam their friend's cell phone number with a whole bunch of text messages just over and over and over and just like fry their phone, and they would have to shut it off. And so yeah, but I'm saying, like, the comparison of, like, let's say 20 years ago or so, when AIM was a thing, it was instant messaging. There was no hesitation, no issues usually with their messaging system. And compare that today with the Xbox messaging system, and there's like constant glitches or freezes or whatever it is. Or not constant, like, but so as far as like connectivity and functionality, even with my Xbox Series X, the console freezes up, like I said, when I'm navigating a lot of times, or whatnot, at least 5-10 times a day. And also, when I go to delete messages, where I always try to clear my inbox because I interact with so many people. I just try to clear my inbox, and I just try to keep things tight knit and organized. Excuse me. So I'm constantly deleting messages, or I'm sending them to the message requests, which is another thing that I thought was bogus. Why would you? I don't understand. I kind of understand for privacy, like, I don't know, for privacy and for safety, you kind of need a message request because some people say some foul stuff, and to avoid live streaming them saying that, you could go check your Xbox app on a mobile device or something. But yeah, so I just thought that was inconvenient towards me on purpose. I thought they made, I honestly thought that they made the message requests system to kind of oppose me, and I don't know, I kind of still believe that. But so anyways, back to the point. When I go to move messages to the message requests, or when I go to delete message after message by, I don't use my controller, I use my keyboard. So what I do is I press the X key. The X key is to delete the message, X, and then either this enter key or this enter key, but usually this enter key over here on the right. So I press X and then enter, X and then enter, X and then enter to quickly delete the messages. So then I can just move on to more players come into my looking for group posts or whatever. So, so to this day, like, it says like error messages like all the time. Like, I go to delete 5 messages, and after like the 5th message or the 6th message, it like for instance, I just recently reached out to a bunch of past Cyclops cult members, and by just like navigating, I'll just kind of show you, like, I navigated to, I went to my activity feed. I'm kind of desperate for Cyclops cult members in a way, or not really desperate, but I try to give people second chances, and I just tried to reach out to all the people that were past members, former members of my Cyclops cult. I've done it several times. And so if you go to my social tab on my, we'll just go back to the welcome. So if this is my gamer tag now, so if you go to the social tab up here, and then look at my feed, I'll scroll down a little bit. I'm plugged in right now, so I'm trying to give you the best angle. But so if you scroll down my feed, I'll just hold the right trigger. So I'm gonna hold the right trigger, and it's gonna go down. So basically, on my activity feed on my Xbox profile, it's basically an endless slideshow of Cyclopses. Basically, all of the new members that come to my Cyclops cult, I require that they send me a screenshot of their Cyclops outfit. So I went through, like, a couple weeks ago, I went through all those past screenshots, and I went to the top of the screenshots or whatever, and, or I'll kind of show you. So that's actually my screenshot. So you go to the screenshot, and then you go to you go to the bottom left. So you go down here to the bottom left to more actions. So now it's up there. So you select more actions, and then it shows who the screenshot is by. So you just select their profile. You just press A on it. So you press A on the profile, boom, and then you that's how you reach out to your past members if you how I do it, if you require people to send a screenshot of their Cyclops outfit. So so I reached out to all the past members, and then I would delete. I messaged all of them, and so I deleted all the message. I went to go delete all those messages. And every 5 or 6 messages I deleted, it shows that error message. So whether I'm sending messages to the message requests, or deleting messages after 5 or 6 messages, an error message pops up. And like you have to wait like 5 seconds for it to automatically fix, because there's no fix to it. It's just it's a constant glitch that happens every 5 or 6 messages that you go to delete, or just every so often when you go to send your messages to message requests, the same type of error message pops up. So I'll kind of show you like how to, not that you need to know, but I'll show you how that looks when you try to send a message to the message request. I don't really have anything, so I'll have to send a message to like myself. So I'll just send a message to one of my other gamer tags. So I'm going to send a message to IL8K. Alright, boom. So I sent a message to myself. Now it's in my messages, in my chats. So now, boom. Now I'm going to press X. Clear this chat history. Or actually, I don't want to. I want to. So I select it. I go down to more, and then move to chat requests. So now it's not in the main messages. It's in chat requests. So no matter if I'm deleting messages from the regular chats or the chat requests, either way, every 5 or 6 messages that I go to delete, there's an error message that pops up. And I recently talked to a manager about that, and he was supposed to send me an email back about it, but he didn't, or whatnot. He was supposed to actually call me back, also email me back. Pretty sure he didn't. Definitely don't think I got a phone call, and I'm pretty aware of my email accounts, and he didn't send me an email. So once again, I mean, they've been doing this for years, where they say, oh, we'll follow up with you about what we were chatting about via email. We'll give you a phone call. They never give me a phone call. They never send me an email. So that's discriminatory. That's unprofessional. That's fraudulent. That's corrupt. So yeah. So I learned that Xbox Xbox, Microsoft Xbox is kind of careless and probably and most likely and almost evidently very discriminatory towards players like me. And, you know, I think honestly it's because they're trying to compete with Rockstar Games. That's the worst part, is like they're just being greedy. Like it's just messed up. So, you know, it's like, especially now that I see, like, recently, like, Microsoft buying, like, okay, not to get ahead of myself, but, you know, it just seems like Microsoft is competing with Rockstar because, you know, they do have their own Microsoft Studios. They made, like, Gears of War, Minecraft, stuff like that. And they have, like, partnered developers and stuff, ID Xbox. So, stuff like that. So, but nonetheless, it's like recently they bought Bethesda, Activision, and Blizzard. And that is like, hey, now we're going to be competing with Rockstar Games. But also, we're going to be selling you consoles that are faulty and underperforming, as I have just proved or proven. So, not just faulty and underperforming, but so faulty and underperforming that it sabotages your rights or your equal opportunity, and basically sabotages you as a business. If you brand yourself as a gamer and a YouTuber or a Twitch streamer or whatever, they are attacking your business with their faulty and underperforming technologies and services. So another thing about them is, like, you go to contact them and they're always like, they're blaming you for something. They're like, oh, let's troubleshoot something on your end. And it's never their problem. It's never their fault. Like, it's never, oh, we're going to take accountability and responsibility for our faulty and underperforming services and technologies. We're going to force you into this loop every time you contact us of, hey, did you try any troubleshooting steps yet? Hold on, let me milk the clock real quick. Let me milk the clock and get some more hours, get some more pay, to just talk it out with you about how our services and technologies are underperforming and faulty, even though you might even have the most damning evidence proving that it has nothing to do with your console. They'll be like, nah, dude, we gotta troubleshoot your console, man. Let's do a factory reset. And it's like, no, dude, your Xbox messaging system is in the cloud and it has nothing to do with my hardware. My console has nothing to do with this. You are not gonna, you know, either they want to do a factory reset or have you ship your console back to them for repair. No. How about you release your console and update your services to work and function properly 100% of the time, because otherwise that's fraudulence and corruption. And also, it's sabotaging to people like me who take things very seriously or whatnot, and consider myself, my Xbox accounts, and my YouTube, Twitch accounts, Mixer, when it was a thing, as a brand, as a business, as brands, as businesses, or just overall myself. I'm a business, I'm a brand. So, not only is it just affecting my just enjoyment of the video game and just enjoyment of social interaction with fellow gamers, but also sabotaging to my equal opportunity and just overall business. So, that's about it for Microsoft Xbox. But, I mean, going forward, eventually INN8K was permanently banned. And like I said earlier, I was at rank 994 out of 8,000 ranks in Grand Theft Auto Online at the time. And so I was almost 1,000 again. And so it's like, okay, you guys seem to be kind of giving me a hard time. It's like, oh, you didn't want me to get to level 1,083 again or something. That's messed up or whatever. So, you know, not to say that I'm fully innocent. Like, you know, I was trash talking, sometimes using hate speech on both IN8K and INN8K. But again, going back to the failure to factor in, you know, it's like we have the most amount of we have the Americans, we have the American version of the English language, we have the most amount of swear words. So, and you know, these games are mostly based around warfare that we play. they fail to factor in virtual provocation, like someone's trying to spawn trap you, just one-on-one even. They're just trying to kill you and kill you and kill you. They don't factor in that, or they don't factor in teaming, where them and their friends are coming to spawn trap you with jets or something, or which is cyber terrorism. They're not factoring in that I was being cyber terrorized and spawn trapped and teamed up against by players and their friends with jets. So you're going to suspend me for trash talk, but then not factor in why I was trash talking. So, and also not factor in the fact that America has the most amount of swear words. So you're going against your own fellow Americans as a Microsoft corporation, an international corporation. So you're supposed to be favorable to the whole global community and just maybe have a greater understanding of, like, why is it, I feel like, just have a greater understanding of everything and just communications and stuff. Especially you half of the console is communications. You should be more understanding and less greedy and less focused on, like, whatever. I get that they have a big corporation, but focus more on, like, I mean, it's like you have two, I think they branched out too much and started focusing on, like, game development too much and whatever else. They just, but anyways, back to the point. It's like you have one job, sell consoles, and then those consoles are two different things: video games and communications, a messaging system and video games. Eventually they added a club system. But if you only have two different things to focus on, is creating consoles and providing a messaging system, you should also consider, like, America has the most amount of swear words. So, like, it's like self-destructive of Microsoft Xbox to be kind of permanently suspending so many Americans. By default, Microsoft Xbox enforcement has, over time, the past 15, 20 years, they have permanently suspended more Americans than any other person in the world, in any other country or in any other language realm or whatnot that speak other languages. Or if you want to compare America to, not compare, but I guess, like, America versus, like, the United Kingdom, or America's English language versus the United Kingdom's English language, or Australia's English language. Australia and the United Kingdom, or Ireland or Scotland or whatever else, they don't have as many swear words as America. And so by default, Australians and and British people have a stronger equal opportunity employment than Americans. So what else? I'm just trying to tell you guys what I've learned over these past 7 years. And so I've learned that there's a lack of, like, there's a lot of disloyalty. There's a lack of loyalty, just from people quitting early when you start a mission, or just in general, any matchmaking in any game. A lot of players just tend to quit early a lot, and it's just a lack of loyalty. But just when it comes to, like, my specific, like, how I operate and how I function, like, through GTA and try to build up a Cyclops cult and stuff, like, I have a lot of I get, like I showed you, I get a lot of followers and I get a lot of subscribers, and they kind of just disconnect from me, which, understandably, everyone has a lot of, they spend a lot of time doing things in real life. Our governments kind of eat up our time with unsafe, forced paid slavery and whatever else, schooling and da-da-da-da-da-da. So I'm not sure if I shut off my console. I guess I did. And just people have different video games that they're interested in. I get it, but and just, people spend time with their friends or new friends, and they start following more people, adding more people, and then they just kind of forget about you. I get it, but particularly when you join my Cyclops cult and join my group chat, at least be somewhat loyal to that. And like I said earlier, if you're adding me on my gamertag IN8K and then I get permanently banned, you might not know that I recreated a new gamertag named INN8K. Oh, and that's oh yeah, no, I already said that. I was gonna say the resemblance of IN8K and INN8K when Xbox enforcement is analyzing reports they see the resemblance and they might just, oh, I remember this guy, I'm gonna make sure to get him banned again. You know, that type of discriminatory, potential discriminatory, uh, unfavorable, unfavorable bias. So, um, so what else? Just a lack of loyalty. But also people are just, they have they just have other things to do. They forget about you. They add way more friends. They, oh, you know, a new game came out, like, oh, I'm going to play Rust now. I want to play Rust instead of, you know, for me, I was interested in Rust as well. Just as, you know, as an example, like I really liked watching Rust videos where people were like raiding bases and joking around and stuff. So I can understand somebody going from like, oh, I'm in someone's Cyclops cult, or I added you as a friend, a GTA player, but then you're like, oh, Rust just came out. I want to play Rust. I see videos about it all the time. So I can understand that and just all the other reasons. But if you're specifically in my group chat and just constantly, like in my Cyclops cult group chat and just constantly ignore me, it's like, I don't know, it's messed up. But yeah. So yeah, what else have I learned? I don't know. There's a lot of things I've learned, like, yeah, so like kind of going further into, I mean, there's not much I could say about pet ownership. Me and Jack, we were just living, and I was just uploading YouTube shorts, also TikTok videos of him and I walking. There's not much about that. I guess TikTok. Okay, so TikTok, they were kind of they were discriminatory towards me. They were banning my videos where I was doing cannabis smoke tricks. They would eventually, like, at first they were kind of welcoming them, or some of them, and but then they would take down immediately, like immediately after I uploaded them, some of my smoke trick videos, and like I would like add music to them, or I would just be listening to music and just doing some smoke tricks, some smoke clouds, ghosts, and or French inhales. And but then so I thought that was discriminatory, so I stopped upload excuse me, I stopped uploading to TikTok. And eventually I was on Snapchat, and I saw somebody shared a story of a girl doing vape tricks, and I'm like, wow, like, so I went to that girl's profile, and I don't think I was using TikTok at the time. I just wanted to go check her profile to see, like, what if does she have like a I just want to see what her profile looks like, how many videos she has of her doing vape tricks with a vape. So I saw her profile, and it was basically flooded with vape tricks. She was doing vape tricks after vape tricks after vape tricks. And I'm like, what? I was continuously getting my videos taken down because I was doing smoke tricks with cannabis. But like maybe a year or so later, or months later, I see a Snapchat story of a girl doing vape tricks, and I go to her TikTok, even though I wasn't on TikTok at the time, and boom, I see she's basing most of her content around vape tricks. And I'm like, wow, now I'm definitely never coming back to TikTok. So it's just, you know, different, like, websites or companies or corporations, apps, they are discriminatory towards certain people for certain reasons, or certain genders, or certain religions, or certain skin colors, whatever it is. And so it's like, so I guess speaking of discrimination, it's like, I would rather work for myself from home as a YouTuber and a gamer, where nobody can really discriminate against me necessarily, or target me necessarily, or fire me necessarily, for the most part, than working at some sort of fast food restaurant that's simply just contributing to 150 billion animals being slaughtered worldwide annually for food, fashion, and profit. Like um, like I said, I'm vegan. I've been vegan since 2020, so I would never work at a fast food restaurant ever again. And I don't really want to necessarily contribute to the American tax system in particular because it hurts more than heals. The American tax system harms and hurts more than helps and heals. That's just one example. America is one of the major contributors to that evil statistic of 150 billion animals being slaughtered worldwide annually for food, fashion, and profit. Furthermore, I realized I looked up a statistic, a 2021 statistic that said 500,000. There were 500,000 plus homeless Americans. So that's not the American dream. Your American dream isn't in a homeless encampment in a mud puddle. You're just falling apart, just suffering, and just that's not the American dream. Nor is that national security devotion since 9/11 2001 or counterterrorism. So both of those points just kind of prove that that statistic being so high is ridiculous. 500,000 plus homeless Americans while we go to war over 9/11 2001 for 3,000 New Yorkers that died. What's worse, 3,000 New Yorkers dying or 500,000 plus homeless Americans suffering through extreme poverty? I would say there is, it's a pretty hardcore comparison or whatnot, but I would say 500,000 plus homeless Americans is worse than 3,000 New Yorkers being killed. And I'm not taking any sides. I'm a very neutral person, but there are two sides to every story. And as far as that goes, like specifically 9/11 2001, it's very suspicious. But at the end of the day, ultimately what happened is America was being greedy. They were they were teaching people so America was being fairly greedy because they were teaching people, like when I was in fourth grade, they taught me how to use I was taught in school to use a keyboard and a computer, how to use the paint app, the paint program, and the text document. But America, I still to this day don't really know what the World Trade Centers were about or are about. I guess it's just global relations for work and just trading and just goods, and I don't know. That's just my best guess for the most part. But nonetheless, there's no need for a specification of what they were doing in those buildings. Like it's like they were using phones and they were using modern computers to send and receive emails or to send and receive phone calls. So you're teaching people, oh yeah, this is a high-end job, and yeah, this is a good paying job. Go to New York and chase your American dream. Get paid a lot. It costs a lot to live here. Get paid a lot to work here in New York. And then, but ultimately, the building of those two towers is like you used a bunch of construction workers to build those two towers, but then just left them unsafe and put upwards of, let's say, 3,000 to, you could probably fit between 3,000 to 5,000 people in those two towers. And you're putting 3,000 to 5,000 people in two different towers to use computers and phones just to leave them unsafe. Or just in specific, like you're not protecting those two towers that you built up, like those skyscrapers, those towers. You pay people a bunch of money to work in those towers to basically just use phones and computers and just left them unsafe. But you claimed to them, you presented to them that it was a great opportunity to move to New York and pay high rent for where you live at, and then get paid a lot to work there. And then all of a sudden you have an attack happen. And I try not to claim that it's a terrorist attack or whatever, but it kind of is or whatever. But it's just like there's two sides to every story, and like, but so about that too is like 60 years before that, Pearl Harbor happened, and I looked it up recently, and 2,600 soldiers were killed. I don't know if that's accurate, but 2,600 American soldiers were killed on the day of Pearl Harbor, or the days of Pearl Harbor, and our retaliation was like World War I, and then nuclear bombing Japan, Hiroshima, 2 times. And that's like, oh, hey, yeah, we're going to prove a point to you. And it seemed like Japan was already given up or whatever. They were pretty much, they lost. I think they were giving up and they already lost, but we still hit them with 2 nuclear bombs. So 60 years later, Arabian people or whatnot take out 3,000 of our people through the 9/11 2001 attacks. And I'm so tired. Sorry. Why is it that the response is so minuscule compared to the response 60 years ago? I'm not expecting more. I don't want more intensified war, but it's not matching energy. And it's just but there were, 16 of the hijackers were Saudi Arabian, and we are still allies or whatnot with Saudi Arabia. So, but specifically, to go into the basic details, are CIA had connections to Osama bin Laden, and Osama bin Laden was an operative, an agent for the CIA. So I guess the CIA is like an international thing to protect America, and they go and they make friends or whatnot with Osama bin Laden. And I don't know if at the time when they made friends with him, if he was connected or if it was even made yet to Al Qaeda, but Al Qaeda gets the blame along with Osama bin Laden for, I guess, a 10-year plan of, because they planned it for 10 years, of the 9/11 2001 Trade Centers attack, and also the Pentagon, and they were trying to do a 4th attack on, I guess, Pennsylvania, somewhere in Pennsylvania. So, and now I feel like someone's gonna hit me with a drone strike right now or something. But so I don't know. It's just so I don't know. I guess I'll just wait. I don't know. I guess it's not at 20% again yet, but so those are the basic details. There's no need to go into all the different conspiracies or theories when you could just understand that America was being kind of greedy, basically forcing unsafe paid. Oh, there's the 20% battery mark. Basically forcing unsafe paid slavery on their citizens. And if you don't work and you don't pay child support or whatever as a man that, let's say, loses custody or only has partial custody of your child, hypothetically, if you have one, you end up getting fined, or like you get fines or you go to jail or something. So it's a never-ending system of like unsafe paid slavery. And every president seems to just want to drop the unemployment rate, and it's just, we're not workers. And so with Mark Zuckerberg, or from Facebook, the owner of Facebook or whatever, and all these other people like Bill Gates, Elon Musk, with their presence and how they claim that, robots and AI and automation will replace all of human work, it makes sense, and I agree with it, and we should intensify that and think millennia, not today, like seconds. Like, we need to think 1,000 years from now. And also, like, nobody wins. No country owns Earth. No country wins. Natural disasters win. Earth destroying itself or whatever, or like the oceans will flood, the volcanoes will erupt, the natural disasters like tornadoes, tsunamis, typhoons, hurricanes, or meteorites or black holes will end us. So as far as like superiority or domination of Earth, there's no such thing. Whether it's a territory, a country, a race, a religion, nobody wins. So yeah, and as far as that, it's like everybody acts like they're standing for something. Everybody acts like they're standing for their country. Everybody acts like they're standing for this or that and the third. They're standing for their race. They're standing for whatever, but they're not really. They won't really take a bullet for their people or their whatever. And as far as like kind of going back to like 9/11, 2001, it's like you got people like kind of like being discriminatory towards Muslims or going against Muslims rather than just building up their own nation. And while they went to war over 9/11, 2001 for 23 plus years, a lot of us were suffering. A lot of us were struggling financially. And it seems to me that the federal government, the military government, and the political government, or parts of our government, were being overpaid and overfunded, and just to end up retreating from Afghanistan with the whole globe watching, the whole internet, the cell phones, everyone. And so, you want to go into like national, it's like after that, the Boston Marathon bombing happened and continuous mass shootings at schools keep happening, which when I was a kid, I heard about homeschooling as a gamer, as I was into gaming, and I've been a gamer since 5 years old. I was like, I want to be homeschooled because I love playing video games. So, but also it's safe. It's a lot more safe. So with the pandemic happening recently, staying home was more common, whether it was parents, adults, or children. You could homeschool, you could work from home. And so people are learning that you can avoid mass shootings a lot easier. But we shouldn't have to learn through a pandemic, through a coronavirus that is a potentially man-made virus, where that's another thing. It's like, it's a potentially man-made virus. We didn't even know, but we're still giving people vaccines. And these vaccines were like hurting people, distorting, like just messing with their health, like killing people. And so, but compare that to cancer. You got a coronavirus that comes out that's potentially man-made, you don't even know yet, and you're giving people vaccines for it that are damaging or deathly, poisonous, lethal, but you're not doing anything about cancer necessarily after like tens of years of research, tens of years of donations to like charities, like foundations, to figure out what's going on with cancer and how to end it and how to stop it, what's causing it. Like, how are you gonna like? So why? So I just find that extremely terroristic for our government, the American government, and all governments to just be like, okay, hey, look, the coronavirus is here, COVID-19. It's a potentially man-made virus, but here's some vaccines. But we've been working on cancer for like 50 plus years or something like that, and we haven't pushed a vaccine on to you about that. We haven't tried to prevent that, stop that, abolish that. We haven't figured that out yet, but we have millions, billions donated into the charities and foundations about it. So that comparison alone, and just different things like 150 billion animals being slaughtered worldwide annually for food, fashion, and profit, and 500,000 plus homeless Americans, stuff like that really bothered me and just really made me think like, okay, I don't want to go back to work. And now that I think even deeper into it, I work from home as a YouTuber and a gamer, and I connect with the global tax system, which is way more contributive and way more beneficial. I could make more money from people who don't even speak English or whatnot, or vice versa. We could just connect like through just, there's a lot of poverty in the other countries. And so it seems to me that this government's like, oh, only we as politicians can be the globalists. Only Microsoft and Google can be the globalists. Only we can connect to the globe. You, we can only favor you if we at our leisure, and you can only be a globalist if we want you to be one. And it's like, nah, like I don't agree with that. And so I don't want to be locked into a tax system just within America. and it's a deathly tax system. There's rappers getting killed left and right, and just different things, um, and that's another thing is, comedians and rappers, they seem to get away with everything. They can say swear words. They can uh, talk about terroristic stuff, criminality, gangbanging. But meanwhile, I get permanently banned 4 times, 3 times that mattered for a little bit of hate speech, trash talk. But like I proved earlier, there's other things that they failed to factor in. And equal opportunity employment means equal opportunity. Like if 50 Cent or whoever can say, yo, I'm going to go do a drive-by or whatever, or say the N-word constantly or whatever it is, then I should be able to say the F word sometimes. Like, what the... So we're at 10%. I got to keep this charging. But what else? There's a lot on my mind, I guess, over these past 7 years, so it's hard to gather it all, but I'm not trying to get too detailed about all this, but I'm just trying to teach you guys what I've learned over 7 years of working from home as a YouTuber and a gamer, working towards a YouTube partnership, which I still haven't really gotten. That's another thing, is like I compare myself to like Joe Rogan, and so I see Joe Rogan getting $100 million Spotify deal, and all he's doing is basically doing a radio show, just like people were doing like 30, 40, 50 years ago. People were doing radio shows. And so a modern radio show would be Joe Rogan with a video and audio podcast. It's basically a radio show. And he's bringing on guests and talking with them. But that's all he's doing. Not to say that's all he's doing, but it's like all he's doing is communicating vocally, memorizing things, meeting new people, meeting people, and then getting their perspective on life, and just allowing people to, like myself, because I was watching Joe Rogan quite a bit. I kind of stopped watching for whatever reasons. But it's just like, if you as a gamer compare yourself to Joe Rogan, you see the way that I function and operate. I'm constantly communicating vocally via keyboard, visually through GTA, playing multiple different games, connecting to multiple different companies, and just skillfully competing through warfare, etc., etc. You realize, like, wow, like I'm doing like 5 to 10 times more than Joe Rogan. Not to discredit him, or specifically me, if I compare myself to like Dr. Disrespect or something like that. Any other gamer, for the most part. Generally speaking, I'm way more communicative. I'm way more communicative. I'm way more inclusive, unique, active, influential, and consistent. So, and everybody has their own contributive effort, and everybody has their own uniqueness, and I can't take away from that. But I just find myself to be one of the best. I've been kind of, I guess, manifesting. I'm the most active, influential, inclusive, unique, and consistent internet user, let alone YouTuber and Xbox gamer. And what else? It's hard to compile everything at once like this on the spot, but and you guys left me. There's zero viewers right now. Oh no. I don't know. So I find it that, us as people using the internet, or as gamers or whatnot, we are pioneers. We're the first people to be gamers or be internet users or cell phone users, and we deserve to be paid to actually be conducting ourselves, to being involving ourselves in these experiments, so to speak, through cell phone usage, video game usage, or internet usage. I guess, specifically internet usage and cell phone usage. I don't know, but like just generally speaking, engaging with the internet on the internet, it's like we have to pay $50 or $200, $50 upwards of $200 for internet a month, or I don't. I'm not a cell phone user, but people have to pay for cell phone bills, and I find, or video games, like we have to pay for Xbox Live Gold subscriptions or whatever, PlayStation Plus, whatever it is, and or Nintendo or Sega or whatever, and it seems like, those are a little bit different, maybe particularly the console services. Maybe you should have to pay for them a little bit, whatever, blah blah blah. Pay for the video games, but as far as like paying for the internet, paying for cell phone connection, I mean, what if all of a sudden you're in a car accident and your cell phone bill gets cut off? Like you didn't pay your cell phone bill this month or something, and you're out stranded in the winter or something, and your cell phone gets cut off because you didn't pay the bill. And like, so you can't, I guess maybe you can still make a 911 phone call if you're stranded or whatever, or if there's an emergency, but it's just, this is all newly founded technology. The internet is it's a newly evolutionary thing for us humans to adapt to and modernize with. And we shouldn't have to pay for the internet. We shouldn't have to pay for cell phone bills, in my opinion, at all. Or at least maybe cell phone bills. I don't know. I don't think that's. I don't agree with cell phones because it damages your spine. It makes people arch, and people focus more on other people's privacy by holding their cell phones down, rather than keeping their health right and their posture proper. Like, whether you're on a bus or if you're just walking down the road or if you're just standing somewhere near other people, you're trying to be overly polite. You're trying to be overly mannerly and polite, and avoid invading people's privacy by doing this. But realistically, as long as you're not being weird and you're just holding your phone up at 12 o'clock, so to speak, 12 o'clock, you shouldn't feel weird about that. Like, that's going to help your health. And if it's slightly invading someone's privacy, they can just say, don't point in my direction. It's very simple. Or you yourself just don't point in anyone's direction. Just kind of. So what else? These these video game controllers are so expensive, man, and they get worn so quickly from using them on a daily basis and stuff like that. So a lot of technologies are overpriced and underperforming and faulty. A lot of technologies are overpriced, underperforming, and faulty. But again, that goes hand in hand with being a pioneer with all of these newly founded internet realms and technologies. We should be able to get them way more. They should be a lot more affordable. And they should be a tool for our brain. Every piece of technology should be operating and functioning faster than your brain, not slower sometimes. Like, for instance, this laptop, like this laptop is like, it's an HP Pavilion 15, and it's like, it works slower than me. Or like sometimes my Xbox console, it works slower than me. I'm operating at a instantaneous level. Meanwhile, a lot of technologies and services are delayed and faulty and underperforming. So these are supposed to be tools and additions, boosts to our brain power, not microaggressions. Every time something has to load, oh, there's a loading wheel. That's manipulative to my eyesight. Oh, these things need to be helpful to our humanity. They need to be helpful to our human brain, not harmful. So not only do we have to pay an arm and a leg for all of this stuff, but it's also generally slower than our brain power, than our brain. And it seems that the higher ups in the governments, like like NASA space people, or the Secret Service, the CIA, the FBI, NSA, all the governmental entities seem to have the fastest technology compared to the average person that has to go and pay an arm and a leg for these technologies, which sometimes are underperforming and faulty, slower than your brain, and crippling your brain rather than helping your brain and boosting your brain's ability and adding to your skill set and just whatever else, helping you build out your craft, whatever your craft might be. And as a modern gamer and a YouTuber, I would like to I I'm so tired right now, but I just I feel like our governments are being unfair towards us. And I mean, clearly the stock system, when it, like, I don't know who did it or what happened specifically, really. I kind of read into it, but something happened with the stock system. The stock system, people or companies or something like that, people and companies were trying to like shut down GameStop within the stock market, within the stock system. What is that? Wall Street or something? I don't know. So, in New York. So, why, why go against gaming and gamers when we are teaching you that we can take World War III to the virtual realms rather than the real life physical world that's already fallen apart? I'd rather see us conducting a cyber virtual warfare simulator via Grand Theft Auto 6 through the Olympics, a new branch off of the Olympics called the Cyber Virtual Warfare Olympics, where America can go against whatever other country or vice versa, and we don't have to actually kill each other and damage and manipulate each other's family trees, because we're all humans and we all deserve life, and we all deserve a chance at reproduction and a chance to continue our family trees. Our ancestors, our ancestors brought us here for a reason. They could have taken one step right or one step left, and we wouldn't have been born, some of us, depending on what step they took or what job they took differently or what they chose to do differently. If they chose to join a gang or not join a gang, or be a police officer or not be a police officer, whatever it is that, could have happened in the past through your ancestors and your ancestry could have changed whether or not you were born. So it's like, so you got to try to be grateful for like all of your family, no matter current, past, like especially your parents. But you have to be very grateful for your ancestors. And so I put like my craft first, my family second, and good deeds third. Some people would put the non-existent God on that list, but of course, I've proven since 2019 that God is non-existent. Hashtag God is fraud. Hashtag God is non-existent. So, to prove that, I mean, just look up those hashtags and read the pinned comment on any of those videos. I have a playlist. I have a YouTube playlist called Conserve Your Energy and Brain Power. And all of those videos show some proven points, or whatever, show some valid points. And so just to kind of summarize, it's like, if the non-existent God existed, he wouldn't allow you to overwork your brain and body to interact with him, religion, and religious traditions. By, if you live to 90, you end up spending about over 100,000 moments, or let's say about 70,000 or more moments, interacting with religious stuff, like saying your graces, praying. Let's say you just if you pray in the morning, pray at night, and say your graces 3 times a day, that's 5 different times you're doing a prayer or whatnot. And then maybe you say, quote unquote, God bless you to people or whatever. You're in my prayers, this, that, and the third. I'm sorry for your loss, blah, blah, blah. You know, I mean, I'm sorry for your loss is different, but on average, if you, even at a very small level of just praying once as you wake, once as you go to sleep, and then three meals a day, and you say your graces 3 times, that's 5 times. If you if you do the math, multiply that by, you know, however many months, live into about 90 or 95 years old, you end up overworking your brain 70,000 plus times. You end up using your brain 70,000 plus times interacting with religion, but you're already interacting with life, family, friends, colleagues at workplaces, or video games, video gamers, etc., pets, neighbors. Just you already have so many interactions that if you add to all those interactions, all these 70,000 plus religious things, you're overworking your brain and you're forcing yourself into Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and I don't know. There's like 3 or 4 memory loss names, and that's another thing. You know, false diagnoses, but we'll stick on the religion thing. So if God exists, if the non-existent God existed, he wouldn't allow you to, he wouldn't allow or force you to overwork your brain and body to interact with him, religion, and religious traditions. He also wouldn't allow you to go outside and step on piles of ants every day, because you could just walk on the sidewalk and step on piles of ants, and that's not fair to them. Because if dinosaurs were doing it to us, we would have a whole different idea of it. If we were getting stomped on by dinosaurs, we'd be like, okay, we wouldn't have any idea. We wouldn't, and animal, we wouldn't be thinking, oh, you know, oh, there's a non-existent God here to save us or something like. But furthermore, animals don't have upgraded and evolved communications like we do, communication systems and languages. So it's like they don't, I don't know, like they don't, when we're using them when some of us are using them as some of us humans are carnivores, we're using them as food. They have no choice, and that's against their animal rights. And if dinosaurs were doing that to us, it would be unfair, and we would have a whole different mindset on, you know, because some carnivores are so hardcore into their carnivorism that they're like, no, yeah, I'll eat animals all I want. But it's like, if dinosaurs were eating your fellow humans, you'd be like, stop, that's not right. We could eat plants or fruits. Like, you would be thinking completely opposite. So, but yeah, but as far as like creating the idea of a religion or creating the idea of a non-existent God, animals don't even really communicate like as thoroughly as humans do. Maybe they could have at some point if we weren't so controlling and so terroristic through World War I, II, and here comes World War III apparently, because nobody seems to be getting along. And, you know, I hope and pray to the non-existent God that we don't go to World War III, because then I lose my job as a YouTuber and I get drafted into a war. I don't want that. But nonetheless, also another strong point is, why, if the non-existent God existed, why would he make some people handicapped, like mute where they can't talk, deaf, can't hear, or blind, can't see, or deformed where they can't walk or move or something, or they have missing limbs or something? Why would he make people like that? There's no reason for that, and so therefore there's no such thing. And but now, before I lose the thought, I would like to start explaining like why YouTube and Xbox are the greatest, or just being a YouTuber and a gamer, whether you're an Xbox gamer or a PlayStation gamer or even a Twitch streamer. Twitch and YouTube can be the highest paying jobs in the world, and you'll be connecting globally rather than nationally. So let me explain. So I'll pull it up on my Xbox as well, but, or can I? Let me think. I'll have to scroll down my community tab a little bit. But yeah, basically, I don't really have to pull up anything, but so it's like YouTube and Twitch, they like Twitch has, I'll start with YouTube. I'll be favorable to YouTube. So YouTube has a join button if you're a partner. Also, Twitch has a sponsor button if you're a partner, I guess. And so when you select the sponsor or the join button, sponsor button on Twitch or join button on YouTube, you pay the creator $5 a month. Usually, at minimum, you pay them $5 a month. If you get yourself to 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, let's say, we'll just say 100,000, but even just at 20,000, 30,000 subscribers, or Twitch is different where they have sponsors, but yeah. So, but they're still subscribe. I guess it's subscribe. It's either sponsor or subscribe, but I think it's subscribe, and subscribers is where you pay $5 a month. So, anyways, if you have, all you need is about $20,000 just to get the ball rolling, just to get the snowball effect started, just at a starter rate. If you get 20,000 subscribers, or the stats that I created, the statistics or the math that I created a few years ago, if you get 100,000 subscribers and you have at a minimum rate, like if you have 100,000 subscribers and only 5,000 of those out of 100,000, which is only 5% of that, if you have 5,000 people paying you $5 a month by selecting your join button, which is more than likely going to happen. If you have 100,000 subscribers, more than likely you're going to have 5,000 of those subscribers, fans, willing to pay you $5 a month. So once you get to 50,000 subscribers or 100,000 subscribers, you're almost guaranteed to start making $25,000 a month. So, so all you need to do is get to 20,000 subscribers just to get that started up. If you get to 100,000 subscribers and you have 5,000 people paying you $5 a month, that's $25,000 a month, which is $300,000 a year. And if you up those numbers, you can make a lot more. Hypothetically, if you have more loyal subscribers, like way more, that are willing to pay you, like let's say instead of 5,000, you have like 30,000 people willing to pay you $5 a month. I don't really want to do the math right now. I guess I could take down the zeros and put them back, but I don't really want to do it right now. I'm so tired. But you could make a lot of money. And just at a small starter rate of $5,000, 5,000 people paying you $5 a month, with, let's say, 100,000 subscribers, that's almost guaranteed to happen. You're going to have 5,000 people willing to pay you $5 a month. You're going to be making a lot of money quickly and easily. And to add to what I'm saying, like, there is never-ending job security. You're always going to have a fellow Xbox gamer or PlayStation gamer or whatever it is, Nintendo. So there's job security in the regard that you always have coworkers, colleagues, which are gamers. Those are your colleagues. Those are your teammates. Those are your friends. Those are your allies. You're always going to have those. Also, on YouTube or Twitch, you're most likely always going to have viewers. So that's another form of job stability. You're never going to run out of viewers or subscribers, and you're never going to run out of colleagues, which are gamers. So I was taught that job security is something you want to aim for. And so as a gamer and a YouTuber and a Twitch streamer, you have never-ending job security. Microsoft Xbox is very successful. Google YouTube is very successful. And as far as Rockstar Games and Grand Theft Auto, they're very successful. Twitch is very successful. They're connected with Amazon and whatnot. And so you have never-ending job stability and job security as a YouTuber and a gamer. As long as you have some help from family, or as long as you can, that's, it'd be nice to have a universal basic income like the presidential candidate Andrew Yang was trying to implement when he was trying to run for president. Like, us Americans deserve a universal basic income, especially after 9/11, 2001, and just all the other things. And that's another thing I kind of didn't really get to, is like different things that happened after 9/11, which proved that we were falsely devoting ourselves to national security and stuff. But anyways, back to like YouTube and stuff. Like, I mean, there wasn't much more to add to it. It's just like there wasn't much more to add to it. It's just you have never-ending job security and stability with all these companies and corporations. So when people tell you go get a job or something like that, or go work into the American tax system and go help your family and stuff, yeah, it's good, but not like the tax system isn't. It seems to harm more than help. It harms more than helps. It hurts more than heals. And but in connecting globally is what we should be doing. And so I see Google and Microsoft kind of failing to implement their translation systems into their comment sections or into their messaging systems, to where, the past 10, 20 years, they could have really reduced the tension between all of our nations. Because, you go to google.translator.com or microsoft.translator.com, and you can easily just copy and paste things and translate things through text. So why is that? I recommended it to, I gave feedback to Microsoft, and I said, hey, you guys should basically take your microsoft.translator.com website and just basically upgrade it and integrate it with your Xbox messaging system. I said I recommended this and advised this, gave this feedback to them probably like 4 years ago or more, something like that, 3-4 years ago or more, and they didn't take my advice. As a matter of fact, recently I saw that I think you have to like download their Microsoft Translator program. You can't even use their website anymore, but Google allows you to use their website still. So but both of these international corporations, they're international corporations. Why are they not implementing and integrating translation systems to favor everyone and their connectivity through nations, and break the barriers of languages, and break the barriers of territories, and help create and formulate more unification and reduce the tensions? I kind of blame Google and Microsoft a little bit for a lot of our tensions today, and a lot of the talk of World War III and all of the wars, like, and so yeah, I I don't know, man. I think that a universal basic income would have helped me this last 7 years. It would have really helped me, and taken some of the pressure off of my family members with their financial pressure to help me, which isn't much. I only need a little bit of electricity for the most part, and I only need the internet to be paid. So I'm not really taking much, maybe some food here and there, but that's another thing, is that, I'm very thankful for the welfare system, the EBT food stamp, the EBT SNAP benefits, the food stamp program, because the past 7 years that's been very beneficial to me, and especially since 2020, about 4 years ago or whatnot, when I started to become vegan. I've been consistently making plant-based vegan food review videos for YouTube Shorts, and without the EBT SNAP benefits, the food stamps, I wouldn't be able to make as many plant-based vegan videos, which I've done over about 250 or so. So I'm very thankful for that. But I do think that America is being stingy in funding wars and being favorable to the military, the military, political, and federal governments, and just allowing homelessness to increase at a 500,000 plus rate. People, 500,000 plus people rate, and and going into, it would be very beneficial if we could all have uh, $1,000 a month, because we could all be like, all I would need is $3,000 to upgrade the current. Like, I just need to be able to upgrade my current equipment, and it doesn't seem that it should cost that much anyways. But um, going into different things like like alcohol is a man-made liquid, and a lot of people are into that. But there's a 2021 study linking 740,000 cases of cancer to alcohol, and so that's messed up that it's still being sold or whatever. It's just, alcohol can be somewhat natural as wine, but at the end of the day, it's man-made. It's a man-made liquid, and it's cancerous, poisonous, and people drink and drive sometimes, and people, die from it. They drink too much of it and die from it, and maybe harm each other and forget about it. They might black out and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't want to say quotes, but some people, yeah, they black out and all that. And um, tobacco, I'm sick of seeing tobacco being sold. Um, I'm kind of talking about corruption and fraudulence more than what I've learned, but it is somewhat what I've learned. Um, Tobacco and alcohol and gambling are three things that shouldn't be allowed, and casinos and stuff. And so tobacco, I have family members that have been smoking tobacco for all of their lives, and it's demeaning for me to have to breathe in secondhand cigarette smoke and just have to watch them kill themselves with tobacco. Furthermore, it's like back, like, let's say 2016 or so. So uh, uh, like 8 years ago or so, I came to the realization that, like, why would you, if you wouldn't walk into a burning building and take deep breaths, then why would you smoke tobacco? It doesn't make any sense. It's just an old tradition that needs to be outcasted and boycotted. And there's something else I just thought of, but I kind of forgot. Um, yeah, I don't know. Oh man, I lost it. Uh, I don't know. What else? I hate that I have so many things on my mind. I guess I'll just move on. Uh, the the I mean, that's part of the tax system as well. Like alcohol, like cancerous, poisonous alcohol and tobacco are attached to our tax systems, and people are benefiting from that. Same thing with like animals and fast food restaurants and restaurants. Like, there are people getting raises and promotions and becoming managers on behalf of contributing to 150 billion animals being slaughtered worldwide annually for food, fashion, and profit. And what I was thinking of is the past nine. I've been alcohol free for 9 years. For the past 9 years, some of you might have already noticed that on my community tab. I post it every year, or whatnot. I plan to as well in the future. I have been alcohol free for 9 years, so sober, and I've been tobacco free for 8 years, and I haven't smoked any uh, uh, cigarillos or cigars with cannabis rolled in it for 4 or 5 years now. So, and I've done it quote unquote cold turkey. So anybody can do it, including my family members, but they choose not to, it seems, sometimes, or whatnot. Like, it's just like they claim that it's too difficult to kick the habit, and it's just like, the way that I see it is, you're jumping on a bandwagon, and it's not even a beneficial bandwagon. You're just like, yeah, I'm gonna do what everyone does and keep doing what I was doing years ago when I was a teenager or whatnot, or when I was a young adult, going to bars or whatever, smoking and drinking, and it's just not. It's like, do something new and modern, adapt, and it's like you're putting on. It's like you're putting on a red nose and being a clown. Like, it's like, oh, I'm going to a circus and I'm being a clown. Like, it's already been done. Don't do that, and don't keep doing that. And you're overspending money on that, attacking your own lungs and manipulating your circulation of your veins and your blood and your just overall functionality of your body, and just you're draining your brain power, and just manipulating and poisoning your insides, and just so um um what else? I keep like thinking of something like this. I don't know, not too much, but I keep like, I think it's about third time I've thought of something, but it kind of just slips because it's hard to remember and also talk at the same time. Um, yeah. I guess basically the past 15 months, people have terroristically and suspiciously coordinated and invaded my privacy. Unknown individuals invaded my privacy, stalked me, and terrorized me via vehicular sound pollution terrorism at the intersection near my home by weaponizing their vehicles and their engine revs, all day and all night, in coordination against my thoughts, movements, and speech, uh, committing sound torture war crimes against me. And I find that very messed up. After hundreds of reports, I have filed hundreds of online reports to all security-based entities in America and eventually internationally, globally. And they keep doing it. They keep getting away with it still to this day after 15 plus months. But yeah, so that's messed up because I'm an American and I thought we were devoted to having and protecting rights, freedom, and privacies or whatnot. And and kind of going towards like going back to like, you know, I thought about this and I said it on a live stream before. I titled it "Keep Terrorizing Me, Watch What Happens," and I said, I made a point that like, it's very unfair that you can go to a fast food restaurant and easily spend $1 to contribute to the death of an animal, and not just the death of an animal, but contribute to the evil statistic of 150 billion animals being slaughtered worldwide annually for food, fashion, and profit, compared to if you need your pet or your animal or your dog or your cat or something, whatever pet, whatever animal, if you need that animal to be medically treated, it costs so much money. You need to spend at least $100 or $200, $300, $400, $500. Usually it's higher than $100. You have to spend at least, let's say, $200, $300 to medically treat your pet or animal. Meanwhile, you can go to a fast food restaurant and spend $1 to contribute to the death of an animal or mass rates of death of animals. And I find that very unbalanced, and that's another part of our tax system that's messed up. So what else have I learned over these 7 years? I guess that's mostly, you know, it's pretty much it for the most part. I'm uh I represent gaming first of all since 5 years old. Like I've been a representative, a pioneer of gaming, which is kind of an outcasted type of a society, even though it should be put at the forefront of society for the most part. Um, I'm I'm a gamer. Started in 2020. Well, I'm a gamer. Started in 2019. I've been anti-religious, mostly uh, anti anti portrayal of the idea of a non-existent God. And I mean, if we're talking uh, Jesus Christ, he had three lies attached to his name. He wasn't the son of God because there's no such thing as God. God is non-existent. He didn't walk on water. That's impossible. And he didn't come back from the dead because during those times, with lack of medical understanding and medical treatment understanding or whatnot, medical knowledge, you didn't people were dying at the age of like in their 20s and 30, like, so there's no way that he came back from the dead after days or weeks or whatever it was. But going back to um you know, and you know, the you know, some Muslim cultures or communities, they do suicide bombings, and or like 9/11 2001, and they kill people and suicide bomb people and themselves in the name of Allah, their God, their portrayal of a non-existent God or whatever, their prophet Muhammad, and their portrayal of their idea of a non-existent God, Allah, and uh, that proves that there's no such thing as karma. If anybody can do a mass shooting or a suicide bombing, and then just kind of end a bunch of lives, and all that they can get in return is death or a death sentence or jail for life, prison for life. There's no karma from that, and you can't bring back your family members, and you can't rebuild your family tree as it once was. You can have another child or whatever, you can have another family member one way or another, but it's not like you lose Nathan, you lose whoever, that's there it is. So, but um so there's no such thing as karma. And so going back to what I was saying is like what I represent since 5 years old gaming, which is kind of outcasted. As you can see, the stock market, they tried to outcast GameStop through the stock market, the New York, the whatever, the stock market, wherever it's located in New York, Wall Street, I guess, something like that. So gaming has a kind of a negative stigma. People try to say that gamers are lazy, gamers don't do nothing, and our government clearly tried to go against GameStop to try to shut down gaming in a way, or some parts of our government, some entities, companies, corporations. And so gaming has somewhat of a bad rep sometimes, and people claim that people become lazy through gaming, but really there's more to it than that. Um, some people, but you know, it's a meditative thing. You know, it's you're very calm, you're staying still. For me, it's I get intense sometimes because I'm playing warfare based games. GTA gets me a little bit intense, gets me a little hyped up a little bit, gets my heart working, which I would say it's a good thing in some ways. Most times, considering exercise is such a positive stigma, and so um, or it has such a positive stigma, and so I'm a representative, pioneer of gaming, modern, evolutionary, futuristic technologies, which have only been in existence for the past like 50 to 60, 70, 80 years. And it's also really good and great now, and so visually connective, and just you can have so much fun visually in Grand Theft Auto Online and just stuff like that. And it's just so fun. Or World of Warcraft as an example, another example. And so yeah, I'm a pioneer of gaming since 5 years old, and I'm a representative. I'm a representative of gaming, and um, I I'm a living example of somebody who represents it well and proves that you can live well while being a gamer. But yeah, being a gamer is really meditative, and you can connect with 100 people rather than having to go from door to door to connect with 100 individual people, and you can make way more friends through gaming. So I'm a representative and a pioneer of gaming. Second of all, I in 2019 I became anti-religious. Before that, I was very neutral, and I was raised as a Catholic slash Christian. I guess my family claims, specifically my dad claims, that I'm a Catholic, not a Christian, or I was, and but I was always neutral until 2019, when I realized single-handedly that God is non-existent, and you shouldn't label people an atheist, or there's no such thing as atheism, when there's no such thing as God. And which reminds me, false diagnoses. Let me try to remember that. So yeah, I'm a representative of gaming. I'm not anti-religious, but I'm anti-portrayal of the idea of a non-existent God, and therefore that would be misinformation. And since 2019, I've known for a fact that God is non-existent, and so so gaming, somewhat anti-religion. I don't know what else to call it, and because I'm not necessarily anti-religion, I'm just anti-portrayal of the idea of a non-existent God. I represent those two types of communities or whatnot, those two things or types of communities, and furthermore, I represent cannabis. Well, I guess cannabis came before anti-religion or whatnot. So I'm a gamer. I'm a gamer. I'm a stoner, and I am anti-religious, specifically in regards to the idea and portrayal of the idea of I'm of I'm anti-religious in the regard of the portrayal of the idea of a non-existent God, which is a man-made thought. And what's the other thing? I recently, in 2020, I became a vegan. So I have 4 communities that I represent and that I'm attached to, that I'm a pioneer of for the most part, that I feel that sometimes I get discriminated against about, or like I'm a white male, so some people would discriminate against me because of that. Like, even though the first people on Earth were Africans or Chinese, the Africans or the Chinese people are the ones who originated slavery. So when white people get blamed for a lot of, like, and not to defend it, because we were harsh towards Africans during slavery times, but going back to the origination of slavery, it had to have been started by either the Africans or the Chinese, because they were the first on Earth. So I I kind of lost what I was saying, but so yeah, I so yeah, now to, like, I feel like I might have missed something there, but so just kind of, so I just need to try to remember false diagnoses. So yeah, I'm part of those 4 communities, like I'm a gamer, stoner, uh, non-existent God opposer, and but not really a poser. I'm just here to spread factual information, and um, I'm a vegan. So, which, okay, so veganism, uh, um, okay, so I was talking about me being a white male, and sometimes we get white Caucasian people get discriminated against, but so veganism, um, dinosaurs proved to us there were a lot of herbivorous dinosaurs that were very large, living off of plantation and vegetation. And that proves to us that we can also live off of fruits and vegetables, plantation and vegetation. So carnivorism is unrealistically set as like the major like it was. It's not so much it's not so much like required anymore or whatever, but yeah, like the I'm just saying, like, the scientists and the researchers should have learned that the herbivorous dinosaurs proved to us that we could just live off of vegetation. But, like, I understand that we were hunters and we made clothes and food out of animals at one point, but it's now time to evolve and understand that dinosaurs in the past, herbivorous ones, were large, living off of vegetation, like I said. And then, furthermore, modern examples of those animals, of large animals that also are herbivores, would be elephant, giraffe, hippopotamus, and gorilla. So those are also very large examples of animals, examples of large animals. And so, to, I guess, finalize, um, false diagnoses. Um, I hate, I greatly dislike when I'm talking to people or whatnot, meeting people, and they're always like, "Yeah, I have ADHD. I'm an atheist or something." When God is non-existent, you're not an atheist. Or ADHD, ADD, bipolar, OCD, uh, all these different anxiety. Those are all false diagnoses. The only two natural and proper diagnoses, the natural, proper, realistic diagnoses are depression and trauma. That's it. And um, so when you are just a human, you are not an atheist. You are just a human. And if you want to represent yourself as a white, black, Asian, or Hispanic, or whatever else, Native, or um, uh, I know I'm missing one there. Sorry. What else? I guess Native. You can represent yourself as that. But as far as like labeling yourself, oh, I have anxiety and stuff like that, it's nonsense. Don't let doctors give you false diagnoses. So not only are the scientists and researchers and doctors not doing their job in regards to teaching us the more pure diet, where veganism, herbivorism is more pure compared to carnivorism, they also are falsely diagnosing people um, with stuff, and people naturally only have depression and trauma. And so when you describe yourself to other people or whatnot, and when you go to a doctor or whatever, do not, I recommend that you stick to instincts and natural living and try to remedy things naturally, and just try to exercise regularly, maybe once a week, and maybe do twice a week or so. It doesn't seem necessary any further than that. No more than 1 or 2 times a week. You don't really need to work out more than 1 or 2 times a week. Maybe even slightly less than that if you do yoga, stretching, and especially as a gamer being very meditative, you don't seem to need to work out more than once or twice a week. And as long as you're eating fairly good and whatnot, you should be fine. I don't, a lot of people seem to overdo it and over stigmatize it, if that's a word. And like working out, like, oh, let's get really buff. Like, if you kind of want to do that, just don't overdo it, because then eventually your body struggles and deteriorates maybe worsely than it would if you were to just kind of, I don't know, naturally live and work out a little bit less. You don't want to overwork your body. And you also probably don't want to overeat and overdrink. That's another thing. They say drink 8 cups of water a day. I say just try to, they say sleep 8 hours a day, drink 8 cups of water a day. I think there's a recent study that it's not proven to be true. So maybe like 4 cups of water a day, something like that is probably more realistic. But you should probably only need to sleep about 6 hours a day, and drink only about 4 cups of water a day or whatnot. And oh man, I lost what I was saying. The false diagnoses, don't let doctors give you false diagnoses. Try to just remedy things naturally. Don't work out too often. Don't eat or drink too much. You should probably only need to sleep about 6 hours a night, maybe less. And while you're just kind of going throughout your day, just kind of, especially as a gamer, you do have some downtimes where you can just kind of you might have teammates that are helping you, so they'll drive you somewhere or fly you somewhere or whatever. If you're not always playing a competitive game, you can take downtimes, especially Grand Theft Auto 5. That's a perfect game and a perfect example of a game where you can kind of just hang out in first person mode while in the passenger seat of a car or an aircraft and just let your teammate drive or fly you somewhere, and you can just kind of relax. Now, as far as like what I've learned, man, like there's just a lot of greediness and lack of loyalty, and but also a lot of our ancestors brought us here for a reason, and we need to just keep pushing. Try to be globalists. Try to be unifiers. Try to focus on unification and translations and connections and less hatred, and just because the prison system and the American system kind of like segregates people and separates people, it doesn't mean that we have to be that way. And if we can, myself personally, I would like to be able to have like 10 different wives, like especially if I'm making $25,000 a month, $300,000 a year. I'd like to have one female from every race or ethnicity, and I would like to be able to make several different family trees from and build up several different racial family trees, reproduce through several different family trees, building up different racial connections and stuff. That's what I would prefer to do. And if I can afford it, clearly I can. If I'm making $25,000 a month and then more in the future, I would love to be able to do that. And so I am a peacekeeper, whatever, peace. I'm for peace, and I would like to, encourage and influence everyone else to also be for peace for the most part. I mean, yeah, I recently, I said I'm doing my Al-Qaeda role play prank stuff, but that's more virtual reality than reality, and also response to 15 months of me being tortured and my government that's supposed to be basing itself and devoting itself to national security for the past 23 plus years since 9/11 2001. I feel like very, very offended, beyond offended, and so that's partially why I'm representing Al-Qaeda, but also Cyclops cult, Cyclops culture, Al-Qaeda, Grand Theft Auto 5, warfare, terrorism, warfare, hardcore, radical, gnarly, hardcoreism. I don't think hardcoreism is a word, but I created it. And so, yeah, so I learned that I should be confident with my craft and my skills, my uniqueness, my consistency. I recently reached 1 million views on my YouTube channel. I I've gotten to 3,200 plus subscribers. I have over 8,300 uploads, and I would love to have like 100,000 uploads in my lifetime. That'd be amazing. And I don't spam. I actually try to produce good uploads. It's I've rapidly intensed I've rapidly increased recently my upload amount because the YouTube Shorts system um, has helped me with that. Which brings me back to like um, let me pull up a post real quick. Um, so I don't want to end it on this note, but I guess we'll have to. But I have a couple posts on Xbox I want you guys to see. But as far as like my IllumiNatey, like I created IllumiNatey back in like 2015, which is basically me connecting with everyone named Nate, Nathan, and Nathaniel. And there's about 10 different ways you can spell Nate, Nathan, and Nathaniel. So I regularly try to connect with those people, and I plan to do it every Sunday. Just try to follow or support or share their content. IllumiNatey, IN8K. I never ended up getting into talking about IV8K, which was my third gamer tag, but basically that was just when I kind of started to realize how to start the Cyclops cult, so I should mention that. Basically, around the time the the Oppressor MK2 came out on Grand Theft Auto 5 Online, which is the flying bike that you could shoot missiles. You have 20 missiles, and you could shoot flares or chaff countermeasures out of the back of it to prevent other missiles or lock on. So around when they released the Oppressor MK2, also around the same time, the Arena War update came out on Grand Theft Auto 5 Online by Rockstar Games. I noticed that so many people were flying the Oppressor MK2, so I was like, okay, Xbox has group chats, and there's a lot of people flying Oppressor MK2s. Let me try to connect the two. So every time I saw a player flying an Oppressor MK2, I would just add them as a friend, and I would just add them to a group chat, and then unadd them as a friend or whatever. And then we would have just a lot of people in a group chat. It wasn't so successful. People weren't really responsive. Still to this day, my Cyclops cult group chats aren't all that responsive, even with them being so unique. And I'm capable of hosting 20 KO Perico and 20 Diamond Casino heists, still fairly unresponsive, fairly like the group chats are, the players in the group chat are unresponsive usually, and it's weird, but nonetheless, how I began the Cyclops cult is I saw the commonality of of Oppressor MK2s, and so I added everyone to group chats. Which then, at the same time, the Cyclops outfit was out, and I was trying to figure out a way to create a Cyclops crew, and so I was like, and so one thing led to another, and I created Cyclops Cult as a gamer tag, made it a group chat, and I was like, okay, how can I, do missions for people to get them the $300,000 that they need to buy the outfit? And I started to do Terabyte missions for players. You could do 3 Terabyte missions, targeted data. I can't remember the names of them right now, but targeted data. Robbery in progress, targeted data, and I don't know. There's 3 missions that pay you $30,000 each. So I would do 3 of those and then try to do another 3 and just try to help people get the 300,000 that they need. But each would pay 30,000, so I could at least get people 90,000. Boom. And just wait it out and then do more. But now I prefer to do like KO Perico heists for players to help them get their Cyclops outfit. I just need to give them a 15% cut. A minimum. That's the minimum. That's the minimum you can give someone is 15%, and that's usually 300,000 to 400,000, which will cover the cost of the Cyclops outfit. So that's how I normally do it nowadays. So yeah, that's how I began and started to develop the Cyclops cult, now also Cyclops culture, and secondarily or whatnot, also Al Qaeda. And so, anyways, I have 3 posts here, kind of hinting at. My feet are so cold right now. I need to turn on this heater. So yeah, it would be nice to have like solar panels and just modern technologies and just a nice studio. I just need about $3,000 so I can upgrade my laptop, uh, my router, and TV. And I guess that's it, because I do have a 4K capture card. I just can't use the 4K capture card because I don't have, like, the TV I got was the wrong TV. It doesn't have enough gigahertz or whatever it is. And I need a better laptop to be able to run the 4K capture card. So I've been sitting on this 4K capture card for 2-3 years now. But, so I really need some investments or some donations for a new laptop or a computer, also a new router, and a TV that actually functions in 4K or whatever. So, yeah, that's. I just need people to watch or donate, and that if you help me with watching, if you watch, it'll contribute to the watch hours that I need. To become a YouTube partner, you need to have 1,000 subscribers, and you need to have 4,000 hours watched in the past year. Or recently, if you have like 10 million views on YouTube Shorts or something, or yeah, like 10 million views, that's another threshold. You could meet that criteria instead of having 4,000 hours watched in the past year, either one. And so, of course, I already have over 1,000 subscribers. So I can actually flip the camera too, I forgot. So I just want to show you. So here's another example of Xbox kind of being faulty and underperforming. Like, if you look at this, like, the other day, I mean, there's no limit to how many people you can message in a day, but like as far as the report system goes, or even like sharing content, like when you're sharing screenshots or whatever, or sharing any type of content, you can only share about like 7 or 8 things before there's a cooldown, and you have to wait about like 3 minutes to share something again, which is unfair when there's a global population of 8 billion people. But also the report system, you can only report about 15 times or so before you have to wait another like 3 minutes to send out another report. So there's a lot of cheating going on the past year or so, and it's unnecessary for that to be that limitation is unnecessary, especially with the global population being over 8 billion. And so yeah, let me go back in time here for a second. Let me go to one of these clubs. So I'll show you what I'm doing rather than just filming my face. So let's go to social, following. Let's go to cult. So the pinned post right here. So yeah, it's like, Microsoft, Rockstar Games, Sony, and PlayStation, they all have very high net worths. They all have a very high net worth each, and they fail to prevent cheating or they fail to implement proper anti-cheat systems, even though they're very rich. So we need to put some pressure on them to prevent cheating and the promotion of it within the Looking for Group post system. So that's one problem. I mean, I posted that a year ago because it's been happening for about a year, and it's just, yeah, so that's a problem. But And another thing I'd like to show is a couple more posts here. So this is what I was referring to a little bit, but this is the full explanation, is that July 2020, Microsoft Xbox gave up on Mixer to partner with Facebook Gaming, buys Bethesda September 2020, so that's just months later or whatnot. So yeah, I'll just read it out. July 2020, Microsoft Xbox gave up on Mixer to partner with Facebook Gaming, which, I mean, oh yeah, I said I was going to read it. Facebook Gaming just seems like it's not even, it's just a social media platform. It doesn't seem like devoted to gaming. But anyways, July 2020, Microsoft Xbox gave up on Mixer to partner with Facebook Gaming. Shortly after, they buy Bethesda September 2020. Then they buy Blizzard and Activision October 2023. YouTube starts YouTube Shorts to compete with TikTok July 2021. Google gave up on Google Stadia January 2023. Even though gamers and gaming played a major role in building up YouTube. I mean, and so when I see that, I kind of see, like, specifically in regards to Microsoft Xbox, they're kind of saying, like, we don't care about your live streams, we don't care about your live streaming opportunities, we just want to sell you games, and we want to profit, we want to be profitable. We don't really care so much about your live streaming opportunities. We don't care about individual gamers becoming creators and stuff like that. It seems like that. It's kind of messed up. So it seems that Microsoft, Xbox, and I mean, if you see the comparison, they're in like Microsoft and Google are kind of in competition as well. So if Google would have just kept Google Stadia going, they might have been able to compete a lot better with Microsoft overall, but they didn't. So, but furthermore, well, the non-existent God hates the Lords of Salem. A movie made by Rob Zombie, also a song by Rob Zombie, in reference to the 1700s when there were, a lot of blood on the religious people's hands. I mean, they falsely accused people of witchcraft, outcasted them, jailed them, burned them, murdered them, stuff like that. I mean, and another form of an example to prove that God is non-existent is, I don't know how to use it. It's like, a female or any person being molested is a prime example of, like, oh, well, where was the protection from the non-existent God? There was no protection. So, but yeah, that's another valid point. So, I think that's it, yeah. Also, as far as, like, personal advice goes, like, just conserve your energy and brain power, and just focus on craft first, family second, or vice versa. Family first, craft second, and good deeds third. And don't overwork your brain, especially if you are believing in some sort of higher power. Don't overwork your brain, but also you probably shouldn't at all believe in a non-existent God or a non-existent higher power, and flare your nostrils. Like, if you'd like to naturally reset your nasal passage and just help yourself breathe better, what you need to do is scrunch your nose, like you're kind of like mad a little bit, like meh. Scrunch your nose upward, and then stretch your upper lip downward. Maybe do it left and right too, kind of like Mark Normand. And then flare your nostrils. Maybe when you pull your upper lip downward, maybe don't do it too far. Maybe don't do it too intensely. Just do it kind of real quick and temporarily, maybe. And then, if you can, flare your nostrils. I know it seems like a lot of people can't do that, but from what I experienced from meeting other people, but yeah, it seems like a really good way to help yourself breathe. I can't really breathe that well in this small environment, but nonetheless, yeah, that's a good way to reset your nasal passage. I feel like, I've been punched, so like my nose is kind of like messed up. I don't know. So instead of getting like nasal spray from a doctor or something like that, I feel like that's a really good form of advice. Otherwise, there's 7 billion people on Earth. Don't sweat one. I hesitated there because actually there's like 8 billion now, but I actually thought of this back in like 2015 or so, 2016 or so. It is, there's 7 billion people on Earth. Don't sweat one. I made it a hashtag and everything. It's on my profile. So, it's on the profile. It's on the location section of my profile. So yeah, 7 billion people on Earth. Don't sweat one. And also, send roses to females. It's free. Like go on Snapchat or something and like just send roses to females or whatever, or to the females that you're interested in, and it's free to do. You don't have to pay money to a flower shop or nothing, or a florist or whatever. So just send out roses to females, whether it's your sister, your mom, your significant others, and just show love easily and freely through the power of emojis. And yeah, be civil, mannerly, and be for everyone. Be universal. Be global. So yeah, that's IllumiNatey, Cyclops cult, Cyclops culture, and what I've learned over 7 years. I might have missed out. I might have left out some things, but for the most part, I covered most things. I mean, other than like YouTube is the best paying job, even better. It can be better paying than like the military, and the military's, it should be kind of downgraded and outcast, like not outcasted, but downgraded, and we should all unify. And like I said, we should do virtual warfare, like rather than real warfare. And if we want to do an Olympic version of warfare, we could do that. And yeah, YouTube and Twitch and whatnot can pay better than any job in the world, and it's never-ending job security. And you'll be paying into a tax system with everyone in the world rather than just in this nation. And I think that's about it. Yeah, be civil, mannerly, and help everyone universally. And yeah, that's like all, or that's like most or all of what I've learned over 7 years. I can't really think of anything else. So yeah. Welcome to the 2024 visualization. I guess I left out the fact that I guess at the beginning of the stream I might have kind of said it, but I've been doing annual movies of all of my footage. I've been, basically every time I get a kill in any game, I record a game clip. So, or just anything. I don't just record kills and that's it. I record other things, obviously, and so I collect all the footage, and I generally don't release any of it for the most part. Sometimes I do, but rarely. And so throughout the end, I collect all the footage throughout the whole year, and then I release it at the end of the year, and I title, several different annual movies as hashtag the 2024 visualization, or I've been doing it since 2017. So 2017, 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and now we're working towards the 2024 visualization. Hashtag the 2024 visualization. And I already have 29 or 30 folders full, like, or whatever. Like, I already have 29 or 30 folders because I've been working pretty hard on a lot of my content. And I have some really good I have a really good nightly idea, which my family, my family living with my mom and my brother, my older brother, like he lives with us sometimes off and on or whatever. Thanks to them, specifically my mom, this thing was kicking around, and I created this idea a few years ago called the nightly dice roll, and I was rolling the die and coordinating and picking 6 different games based on which this landed on. And now Xbox has this new feature, so I'll show you that now. It's called the surprise me feature. And so I've been trying to do it nightly, but lately I've been overwhelmed and felt terrorized. So, but I'll go to my groups, and so boom, here's the nightly dice roll. Normally this right here, this game would be Red Dead Redemption 2, but I decided to start working towards playing their definitive trilogy. They have Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas as definitive editions now, through a trilogy. Excuse me. Through a trilogy, they call it the GTA trilogy, and so I replaced I replaced that with Red Dead Redemption 2 temporarily, and then once I'm done doing that story, I'll go and do Vice City and then San Andreas, and then we'll bring back Red Dead Redemption 2. But these are the 6 games for the nightly dice roll. So we have Battlefield 2042, Black Desert, Borderlands 3. I will eventually replace that with Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I might even just do that. I mean, I think I already beat the story mode, so I might even just do that. I don't know. And Dead Island. We have Dead Island 2. Amazing game. So gory and it's so awesome. Just slaying zombies. It's so amazing. And then this, which would normally be Red Dead Redemption 2. And Rainbow Six Siege, one of my favorites. I love that game so much. Recently, I've been quick planting with Sens, an attacker. He's so good at quick planting. You can just run right into the enemy's bases. I did a quick plant 2 different times. 19 seconds. I did 2 different quick plants. I don't remember the names of the maps. I think one was Stadium. And so I did it 2 different times. The second time, I could have done it in like 16, 17 seconds, but I was a little bit hesitant, a little bit nervous, so I was just... But 2 different times, I did 2 19-second quick plants as Sens, the attacker. So he throws these he throws these 3 wheels, and they project illuminated screens, and they're like teal greenish looking screens, and it blocks the vision of anyone, so you can easily get into the enemy's base and quick plant and startle them and catch them off guard if you play your cards right or whatnot. If you maneuver quickly enough and get kind of lucky, because sometimes you could just run right into an enemy, but it's a really good strategy. And so yeah, that's so let me show you how the surprise me feature works. Let me turn on this controller. So what you do is you create a group, put however many games you want in the group. I don't know what the limit is, but I think it's there is a limit, just I don't know. So press start on the name of it, go down to surprise me, and boom. So it chooses games for you, and so I don't have to roll the die physically, and I don't have to pick it up off the ground. So it's a very helpful feature. And I'm kind of testing it right now because it seems to always choose Grand Theft Auto 3 and Borderlands. So, but yeah, that's the. I also have 6 weekly ideas. Sunday is for IllumiNatey. Monday is Meditation Monday, where I meditate on Red Dead Redemption 2, or in the future maybe Red Dead Redemption 3, if that is released, if that's created. Grand Theft Auto, or I'll meditate on Grand Theft Auto 5, and in the future Grand Theft Auto 6. So, IllumiNatey Sunday, Meditation Monday, free to play Tuesday, also first time playing Tuesday. So I'll play a free to play game on Tuesday. Also, first time playing any game on Tuesday, preferably something maybe from the Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass, and I have a hashtag for that. Hashtag IllumiNatey, hashtag Meditation Monday, hashtag FTPT. Again, hashtag FTPT, which stands for both Free to Play Tuesday and First Time Playing Tuesday. And then Wednesdays, I reserve my weekly role-playing Grand Theft Auto roleplay, where I roleplay as a police officer or some sort of law enforcement. Hashtag passive police patrol. And Thursday, nothing. But Friday, I would like to do Finale Friday, which is me hosting 20 Cayo Perico heists for my Cyclops cult, and giving them full cut on 18 of them, and keeping full cut on 2 of them for myself on my main gamer tag. So hashtag Finale Friday. And number 6. So free to play and first time playing would be 2. So those are the 6 weekly ideas. And so yeah, that's all that I've developed. That's a lot that I've learned. I'm not sure if I covered everything, but yeah. Thank you for watching. Keep watching. Remember, cyberstalking is a federal crime. Do not cyberstalk fellow gamers. Support fellow gamers. Also, hashtag 7 billion people on Earth don't sweat one. 8 billion people on Earth don't sweat one. There's 10 nice people out there waiting on you. If there's one person in your household, or one person in your life that's mean or disruptive or rude or whatever, don't cut them off, because suicide is real. But there are 10 fun, happy, nice, loving, helpful gamers waiting on you, or people on the internet waiting on you, to replace, or somewhat replace, maybe even just temporarily, that one person that might be negative. Stay true to you. Stay true. Focus on your craft first, family second, and good deeds third. Keep an eye out for the visualization, the 2024 visualization at the end of the year.